Honey, I'm home. Honey? Oh my god. Oh my god. Honey! It happened again! It finally came! Pedro, honey!
Yes.
The big baby that we've been waiting for. Oh, it's
Yeah.
finally come and graced our lives. The magnum opus of a show that's both entertained and tormented us forever has come. We need Tio and Shroy to help us out with this. It's the
Yes.
Spirit Riding Free movie.
Spirit Untamed. So you might remember, everybody, the 2002 underrated gem that Dreamworks Animation made called Spirits. Spirit.
Son of a Cimarron, yeah.
Cimarron.
It was a movie that fans have wanted a sequel for ages. And they sort of got a sequel. In the same way that people who wanted a 6th season to Teen Titans got a 6th season in Teen Titans Go.
There is, it's no mystery that DreamWorks has tried to push a lot of animated series based on their properties in recent times. First on Nickelodeon with stuff like Monsters vs. Aliens, but more recently with Netflix with stuff like Boss Baby.
To be fair, the How to Train Your Dragon Netflix series is absolutely awesome. I recommend you check it out.
But most of them were about their 3D animated properties. They never really went back to their 2D stuff. And I get it. You really don't want to make, something more about, the period of the Prince of Egypt where, the tribes were stuck in the desert. It's
but
kind of
Tio, can
boring.
you imagine how great a Netflix sequel to The Prince of Egypt would have been?
But one of these properties that decided to finally grace was Spirit.
Yes,
Spirit.
back in 2017, in a partnership with Netflix, DreamWorks released Spirit Riding Free, a TV show which is a very generic girl on a horse type of story. You've seen these movies,
You would
right?
think it would be just generic. In fact, we all thought it was going to be just generic.
Well, I don't want to get into specifics because it's a lot of episodes. I just want to try to get through this quickly. The point is, it was a show that had where this girl meets this quote unquote horse that's the son of Spirit and Rain, according
It's
to
very
Ari.
vague.
This was only...
No. Ari Wellington specifically said in that behind the scenes video that you can still see in the official YouTube channel too. She specifically says that this spirit that we see in the show and in this movie is the son of Spirit and Rain from the first movie.
That being said, you only knew that if you saw that particular interview. Otherwise, most people are left to believe that this was the same spirit from Stallion of a Cimarron, who gets tamed by an untrained girl with horses. Oh, but it's okay because her mother was also proficient with horses. That means she's automatically good at it.
Okay, again, like Pedro said, there's a lot of going on in the actual series, but the biggest problem that you need to know is that everything is incredibly vague. The supporting cast, their characterization, even the fucking time period of the setting and the geography are vague as fuck. Meaning that the show lacks a lot of substance, even when they try to actually have continuity between seasons and episodes.
Now I know what you're probably thinking, audience. Squirm, if this show's so bad, why are you still watching it? Trust me, it feels like the show's been going on for more than just 4 years. Because
aside from the fact that barely anyone talks about this, not even people like Saber's Park actually touched it. So as you can see, audience, we're kind of like ahead of the curve.
Let me put things into perspective. There are technically 3 or 4 different series of Spirit Riding Free, which might as well just all be the same show, just set in different locations, with one of the seasons consisting mainly of shorts here and there.
Let me break it down.
Go on.
There's 8 seasons there's the original Spirit Riding Free series, which went on for 8 seasons. And
which had a cop-out ending that totally threw Tio and Shiroi for a loop and thinking it was going to be the true end of the series.
Well, that wasn't for me. But anyway.
Yeah, me as well.
Even though and by 8 seasons, I mean seasons that were 2 seasons per year. And that's how they got to 4, to 8. Because each season is like 6-7 episodes long, and they were released in 4 months apart or for a while there. So basically, they shouldn't go on for 8 years, obviously.
Believe it or not, there was a moment when we thought the series actually died because, without spoiling, season 8 ends in a way that you think it would have been the end of the series.
And then, of course, there was a sequel series called Spirit Riding Free Ponytails, where it's a 2-season series where the first season is just 4 6-minute shorts and 2 music videos. Then the second season is 4 full-fledged episodes. And then we have 2 seasons of Spirit Riding Free Riding Academy, which is basically normal seasons, except they take place in the riding academy where they're trying to learn how to ride horses professionally.
Until the
And
last
then-
few episodes.
Yeah, and then taking a page from, for some reason, the Bandersnatch interactive game, they even made one of their own. Like,
Yes.
Now,
why?
okay, now,
And
folks.
that was the last Spirit Riding Free Netflix thing. After this, now we have Untamed, which is apparently, we haven't seen it yet, keep that in mind, everybody. This is our blind watch. Apparently it's going to be a retelling of the first season somewhat.
Which has potentially pissed off fans of the original Netflix series. And mind you, folks, for this movie that is based off of a Netflix series, which, you know, got most of its popularity from kids who check on a streaming service, this thing was supposed to be exclusive to theaters and not
Until
show up on
today.
Netflix. I say supposed to because of, well, how we're watching this movie. But before we get into that, a caveat about the show here. The reason we've been keeping up with it, folks, is like, well, this show managed to defy our expectations of it just being generic bad or, oh, the worst thing would just be that it's a disgrace to the original Spirit movie. Believe it or not, each season is incredibly stupid in its own unique way. Like, when we eventually get to doing commentaries of the show, we'll be able to explain better. But I kid you not, that series constantly managed to surprise us with new ways of stupidity with
It's
every new season. And that's why we just we kept coming back and back.
It's baffling to say the least, but yeah, we're not here to talk about the show. We're talking about the movie. This movie is actually not made in-house by DreamWorks' own animators. This movie was outsourced to a Chinese studio because apparently the DreamWorks' own animators didn't want to touch this thing.
Why?
That's reassuring.
Not to mention, this movie, like Java said, it opened up straight into theaters. Yeah, here's the thing, in case you haven't realized, at the time of this recording, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, so obviously it makes little to no sense to release this movie only in theaters when that's absolutely no mainstream pull from this, because this is an obscure Netflix TV show. Yet DreamWorks thought, no, this is the one. This is the one that deserves the only theaters treatment.
Now, give them
And
some
that's why
credit,
everybody-
Pedro. They did try to market this as a direct sequel to the Spirit movie. You know, just
Yeah.
like they did with the show originally. But no, now this is the real sequel. I'm sure that won't piss off fans of the original show.
Clearly. Not to mention, you're probably thinking, well, so did that turn out, everybody? Well, this movie is not even a month in theaters at this point, and it's already DreamWorks' lowest grossing film. To the point where where DreamWorks decided to release the movie digitally on Amazon Prime today.
Oh, that was on purpose. I thought that was just by accident.
That's the thing. Clearly, they saw how bad the movie was doing, and they thought they had to recoup costs somehow. So let's just put it on digital.
I think that may be a shorter theater runtime than the Gem and the Holograms movie had. Damn.
Getting into the more technical aspects, Ari Wallington, the show's creator and lead writer, is writing this movie along with another writer from the show. So yes, everybody, the creator and another writer from the show are back to write this movie.
Keep in mind, Ori Wellington took time off from the Spirit Riding Free show, you know, her own baby, to work on this, which was supposed to be her magnum opus, her big break.
And here's two things that I think will be interesting. Yes, like I said, lowest grossing. But Pedro, are you sure? Yes, I looked it up. I'm looking at the statistics right now. The opening box office weekend for Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas was $6.8 million. The opening for Spirit Untamed, 6.1.
I mean,
but
well,
the
look at the
movie
bright
is-
side,
the-
Tio.
the
Now
movie has
Sinbad
been-
is no longer the lowest.
Yes.
Can I have a Netflix show about that next, please?
You would think, but we can talk more about that later during the film.
To also, that's something that I'm sure will please Teo, but there's another thing that I'm sure this pleases Teo because of his standards for voice acting. None of the voice actors from the show reprise their roles in this movie.
That's fucking. I really don't understand this. Like, really don't. You have people now experience with these characters, and you don't fucking use them. It's not like did we actually replace with like more important celebrities or something? Because if not, I really don't understand the point. Especially because some of these voice actors for the series were quasi-celebrities, where people were involved with stuff like High School Musical,
Yeah. So to go back, well, what about the actual movie, Pedro? You might ask. Well, here's the critics pretty much didn't like it. It has a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the consensus is, while it might be a passable diversion for younger viewers, Spirit Untamed is a middling sequel that lacks the essential energy suggested by its title. That being said, everybody, apparently audiences love the movie a lot more. It has a 96% of audience score, with the consensus of the audience saying kids will enjoy Spirit Untamed's exciting story and eye-catching animation, and parents will appreciate its positive message and valuable lessons.
Bit of a caveat, though.
That's
I'm gonna say this, though, since that's probably based off of people who actually went to see it, which, based off of the box office, wasn't that much. I'm willing to bet that people who were willing to go see it were people who were, either not a fan of the movie, or, I'm not even stuttering here, not a fan of a show. Because from what I've heard, people who were fans of the original movie and people who were fans of the original show alike were pissed off by this movie.
Well, that I do not know. I have never seen a review from someone who's a fan of the show, so I wouldn't know.
I've looked into forums here and there, whenever I can get my hands on. From what I can recall, the people who got into this movie were basically the people who were as fresh with Spirit as possible.
Okay.
For the
well,
majority.
To end this long intro, Shiroi, you like horses, right?
I did.
Oh, you did.
Oh no, don't tell me
You know-
Spirit Riding Free ruined it for you.
No, remember, I've had accidents.
Yeah.
I used to horse ride.
remember,
okay,
guys.
okay. Spirit Riding Free did not capture the horse riding experience to you, if I remember correctly, right?
No.
But
no,
guys,
it's not.
but guys,
So maybe this movie that has a higher budget will fix that. The copy has the Universal logo and then the Dreamworks logo. If for whatever reason your copy does not have the Universal logo, I will give a second click for when the Dreamworks logo properly starts. So I'm guessing it's Americans who don't have to do with the Universal logo. I don't know, whatever. The point is, if your copy doesn't have a Universal logo, you can just rely on my second click to start at the beginning of the Dreamworks logo in case you want to.
All right.
all set to go.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, click.
Also, Jova, I don't know what you mean by we've been keeping up with this. You guys have been keeping up with this. I stopped watching a long time ago.
Shiroi,
You were there.
Watching a lot of the seasons with us, actually.
Yeah,
Watching
not
season ones.
not most of them, no, not every
Well,
single one as they came out.
It is a good segue, but I'll let Pedro do the
that's-
signal first.
Commentary will be an
Comcast.
obligation.
And click.
That's the thing,
But,
Story. You technically did watch up to the end of a series.
I was
with
about to
us.
mention, here's a good segue. At first, I wasn't even wanting to care about this fucking thing, but Pedro somehow, if I calculate, it was because we really had enough free time.
Actually,
Just-
not. I remember exactly what happened. If you don't allow me, what happened was, I swear to you, Teo, it's
Huh.
so bad. And then you literally told me, well, Pedro, in that case, you literally suggested it. You
Okay,
literally-
fair enough. To actually started watching
Wait,
and
what?
around. And I think around we was kind of in the trailer. We see, if I calculate, we see Lucky's mother.
So this is going to try and be a Disney movie. It's got to be fair, the music actually does sound nice for the
Yeah,
song.
let's just start with this. Why not? But basically, around season 4 or 5, I think, the series pissed me off so much that I started drinking around it. So to keep the tradition, here's some whiskey to keep me company for the movie.
Oh my
God,
god,
that-
the
that-
reflection in her eyes.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's not just that, Jova. The dimension of the eyes are way too
Wait.
big.
Yeah, this is one of the complaints critics have had with this movie. The animation is not really up to the standards that from DreamWorks.
Gee, it's almost as if it wasn't done by DreamWorks themselves, by a Chinese studio.
not just that. Too. Like a lot of people have agreed that that this movie feels a lot more like a straight-to-video movie rather
hold
than
on,
a proper.
wait. Did she just die there or something? That implied she died.
I think she had an accident.
Oh, okay, I don't know, Teo. They didn't show anything. How am I supposed to know that?
No,
was an
Pedro,
accident?
The reaction from the father.
And also, Pedro, the way her ribbon flew off of her implied death.
Okay, so Milagro, aka Lucky's mom, jumped with a horse, and then she died.
Wait.
Is this
Wait.
are we watching a different movie? What is this?
Wait, hold on. That's it,
Is that
Cora?
supposed to be Cora?
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God, Cora! What
Yeah, 'cause
happened to
you're
your
wondering,
face?
Cora, despite the name similar, Cora is not from Avatar. In this case, she's actually the tutor of Lucky for the first couple of seasons.
Okay, basically, from what I've heard, and mind you, when I say fans of the show were pissed off, I'm talking about fans who, were old enough to go on the internet and whatnot. Probably not the target demographic, but still, vocal fans of the show. One of their complaints was like, the characters look different. Way different, to the point where this might as well be an alternate universe. And yes, I know it was an alternate universe, but not the best representation.
I'm more questioning
So-
why did this needed a retelling of the first couple of episodes in that crazy movie.
Apparently,
Oh, there's the grandpa.
Apparently, the show was doing well enough on Netflix that DreamWorks decided to give it the theatrical treatment.
I wouldn't mind that, but why not, making it a continuation, like a spin-off, like one of the Dragon Ball OVAs,
I do
Why
get
having
that.
a retelling?
That's the thing too. I'm pretty sure they wanted to make sure people didn't have to watch an entire season's worth of show in order
Pedro,
to.
it's Netflix. People binge that shit every day if they want to.
I guess here's the better point.
Also,
Why-
Lucky is a squirrel sidekick now, I guess.
Okay, so in this version, Lucky's rich.
Well,
'Cause,
okay.
Okay,
To
remember,
be fair,
her
Lucky
grandfather
always...
is rich. Remember, he had a villa that they inherited at the end of the third
Yeah, true.
iteration.
Yeah,
and
true.
remember, it was her father, who in this version is not, voiced by Alan North,
Which is automatically a downgrade, if you ask me.
who
but damn
decided
it.
to start this company of railroading.
Oh, wait, I know how this is going to go. They go inside, and it's a complete mess because of the antics with the squirrel, and...
Oh,
Oh!
That's
Oh
nice,
God!
but
Put that out! Put that out!
I still can get over that bit from earlier though. So Milagro jumped and then she died because of a fate to white, I guess.
oh my God, that's a reference
Oh.
to Osmosis Jones. Fuck me.
Oh! Okay. And this is the reason why Lucky is sent out west, to learn to become a more proper lady. Okay, so I guess they gave us backstory from...
Well, it was kind of like it was kind of like the premise of
That's
the
not
original.
the proper no. Remember, the proper reason why they moved to Miradero is because the father found work there.
True, but there still was the subplot about Lucky having to learn about being more, properly behaved.
That
Okay, yeah,
said,
but
though,
so far in this movie, they haven't established
Also-
that the father got work there. Though.
Also, that thing was rabid. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What is this is another problem that people critics pointed out. The animation and the overall proportions in this show don't feel a bit off for DreamWorks. You can tell this feels like it was a project that was made specifically for streaming / digital / video, whatever you want to call it.
also, this...
Oh God, that's mild.
Also, I don't know if
Also, you don't put your head out a train window.
I don't
But
know if...
Shira, it's so whimsical. Just ignore the fact that you can collide with any object at any moment and die.
Also, I don't know if it's just me, but the scenery looks weird. Like, it feels like a weird mix between Pixar animation and,
mind you,
DreamWorks animation, but in a weird mutant baby
Mishmash.
fusion of the two.
in case you're wondering, everybody, I looked it up. The budget for this movie was $30 million. So you'd think with a movie as cheaply made as this, it would have been easy to make back their profit, their money. No. It's still at the time of this recording, the box office is still on 19 million in box office. So, and this is worldwide for the record.
Now, okay, now some people will probably think, oh, they'll blame the pandemic. I'd argue they've lost that right, considering how they pretty much set this in theater only, but... Okay, even with the pandemic, there have been movies that have been put in theaters that have still succeeded.
Well, Tail, give it credit. She's just as stupid here as she is in the
hey,
show.
Spirit.
So points for consistency.
The question is, will she have her Oliver Vendal attitude as well?
Let's see.
How old is Lucky supposed to be in this movie?
At the beginning of the show, which I'm assuming is the same here, 11.
Oh yeah, there's one thing you need to know in case you haven't watched the show. Spirit barely feels a character in his own fucking series.
Basically, she's as old as Anne was at the beginning when she came in the. Surprisingly,
Sounds way too old to be that.
So
that's the problem,
hello?
Shiro. They didn't get Amber Frank to reprise her role. Instead, they got Isabelle Merced, who was a natural Hollywood actress. Problem is, she is not a voice actress. She doesn't really know how to voice a little girl.
So my question is, will Spirit actually have a more prominent role? Because I'm not joking. I'm not even being that much of an hyperbole, folks. The show is legitimately mostly just about Lucky and her posse, and Spirit feels a vehicle at best. They even removed the fucking inner thoughts that the first movie had.
The trade-off is...
Why isn't Cora serving the passengers?
I don't think she's serving the passengers. She was just trying to get a dish.
Oh boy, more comedic hijinks. So where's the father, by the way?
I get the feeling he's already at Miradero.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder why Ori made some of these changes.
Well, you know, for a retelling, have it be different. Which, again, I'll just say this. If you're going to have this...
whimsical moment from the trailer.
Yes, women singing in the background.
Actually, it sounds like chorus of guys.
Dreamworks face in a moment.
Oh god!
Dreamworks face!
Also, I'm sure that's not a villain.
I mean, it's not like we saw trailers that were establishing him as the villain.
Chin, seriously, this guy's chin. It's just like a scene in there.
Again, I don't know if it's just me, but something about the scenery. Wait. Winter Mountain all of a sudden?
Jova, are we sure this is in America and not New Zealand?
Oh, there's that title.
Like almost.
What a weird time for a title drop.
And it's not even properly centered. It's weirdly up top left.
Yeah, there you go. Jim Prescott is the name of the father, and that's his company. They remember that at least.
Miradero, but yeah, again, something about the scenery feels so off about this movie. It doesn't look outright bad, but it seems uncanny.
This is the big problem with DreamWorks ever since they were bought by Universal. They've become a very aimless studio who just is incredibly wildly inconsistent with their quality. Occasionally it'll turn out a really good movie, but a lot of times there's a lot of movies that are forgettable.
And also thank you for that joke. And that's when the Comcast allows them to actually market their own thing. I swear, I still haven't seen I know that they did one, but I still haven't seen an actual trailer for The Croods 2, and that is come out like last Christmas.
Okay, so apparently...
And guess what, the next movie of theirs after this one is Boss Baby 2.
Okay, so apparently...
Let's have a preemptive one, then.
So apparently Lucky and Cora come to see their father every summer, apparently, so... That's apparently the case now.
Seriously, how much do you want to foreshadow that this guy is the bad guy?
I know, right?
Again, guys, it's not like we saw plenty of trailers and a video game that established he's the bad guy.
For the record, the show did had some recurring bad guys, even though one of them is in quotation marks because of the way that the show portrays that kind of morality and the actions that he faces. But there are legitimately straight up bad guys that could have been used for this movie. But no, I just have this original smack chin guy.
It really does boggle.
Oh no, was that supposed to be Snips?
I think so. For those who don't know, guys, Snips
is the bane of my life.
Yeah.
I think that's his only appearance in the movie, though, right?
Please, let it be. Okay.
Oh, so we're already getting the bout of people who recognize her via her mother.
How do you know her? Isn't this like her first time here?
Again, you just said.
Sorry.
It's like I said, Pedro, yeah. Okay, for those who don't know, we got to this in season 4, but I guess we're getting to this now.
Dramatic throwing.
I can't just give it to you from hand to hand. I have to throw it to you gracefully.
Hey,
Man, Prue's father lost a lot of facial hair.
And also, he sounds like he's voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson.
Also, Prue looks way younger. In fact, even all the
Lucky horses can do a lot of things.
Also, all the girls seems to be younger than what they actually look like in the show.
I suppose, to be fair, it probably makes them look more age appropriate than they did in the show, because in the show, I constantly thought they were teenagers.
Wait, we're not supposed to?
No.
Apparently,
Oh.
okay.
That's a problem tale. The show suffers from Learn Before Time / Alpha and Omega syndrome, where the characters don't age.
Okay. To be fair, by as far as we know, the end of the show, they're supposed to be teenagers, but at the start, yeah, as Pedro said, they're supposed to be
say
like
that,
11.
Jova. You say that, Jova, but they haven't physically aged at all in the show.
But
I also love how Korra
Pedro,
went through that.
but
Sorry,
Pedro, remember, there have been multiple birthdays and whatnot, so they have to have aged.
It's like the Pokemon anime, whatever. But I love how they went through the whole slapstick kind of gag where Korra falls into the cow shit, but her dress is completely fine.
Yeah, like, didn't you commit to it by having her get messed up from that?
I wonder if they're gonna have the terrible.
Oh God, that's him!
He's here.
He's blonde!
Oh my God!
He's blonde now.
Oh, well. Oh God, there he is, guys.
Okay, no. Let's see if he's as annoying as he is in the show.
Yeah, let's
I
listen.
want to see if this Notling actually is on par.
Actually, he surprisingly sounds similar to his show counterpart.
Or Senor Carrot. Senor Carrot is actually younger than he's supposed to be. Yeah, it's not even the same voice actor, actually.
Oh, I know, but he
They
sounds like he's at least trying to be similar.
Oh, there's Abigail.
I guess they're trying to make him blonde so that, you
Oh, that
know,
wasn't
he
so
and
bad.
Abigail are more similar. Also, Jesus!
Abigail is rabid.
She doesn't seem as stupid as she is in the show.
Give it a minute, Jova.
Well, I remember,
I'm
Jova,
feeling it.
this is season 1, Abigail, before they Flanderized her.
Basically, folks, Abigail was, you know, just the resident other girl until I guess they've decided for her gimmick to be full-on stupidity. Because she seems to get stupider with each one. Oh, she's also a showgirl, too.
Yeah, just leave him here.
Wow, I love how Tio has absolutely no sympathy for Snips.
I'm sorry, Jova. After all the season with that little shitling, sorry, I really don't.
Let's just say, everybody,
This
for
is
those,
cathartic, isn't
for those who
it?
haven't seen the show, everybody, let's just say he's way worse in the show than he is here.
Yeah. Like, honestly, so far he doesn't seem bad in the movie.
I just hope that was his only appearance and we'll never see him, like, for the credits, maybe.
It was probably just a cameo for the show fans, too.
I still don't understand why
Well,
they made him blonde, though.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing, Pedro.
It's
For
not
some-
even blonde, the color. Even the type of hair, it was like curly in the show. It was like, you know, but here it was very straightened up.
And there you go. In the show, Jim was voiced by Nolan North. In here, he's voiced by Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes, they dragged Jake Gyllenhaal into this mess.
Also, he had like a mustache and a goatee, but here he's just as a what's the name? A shade clock something.
An aftershave.
Thank you.
You were saying, Shui?
Like, isn't Sips like a redhead in the show?
Yeah,
He was.
Not just
Yeah.
that, Shiro. Again, his type of hair is, you know, it's like more curly. It's not supposed to be like straightened up like here. So they literally went for a different concept design.
Yeah. That's the thing, Pedro. For a supposed cameo for the fans, stuff that fans would recognize or well.
Also, did you
The
notice
bloom,
that?
the fucking bloom.
Not just that, too. Did you notice that there was like a giant fucking roach through the door earlier?
Yeah.
I thought that was a spider.
see it.
What was the point of that?
It's to show that the
it was
place is in disarray to you.
I get that, but it was so huge, though.
It was the perspective, Pedro, for shortening and all.
But anyway.
Yeah, it was in the third foreground.
Anyway, though, Pedro, my point is, like, for all these references to the show, a lot of them are drastically different from the show. Like, were they expecting fans to like it? Oh, look, there's this thing, except it's not how you remember it from the show.
Also, Jim keeps gunpowder in the fucking living room. That's the chaddest way possible to handle your company.
I mean, so far, I don't have
Oh,
a problem with
let
this
me
movie.
guess.
It's just very generic.
Oh, I get it.
yeah.
Oh, I get it. So she and her dad spend so much time apart that he doesn't know what she truly likes anymore.
This is a difference between the show, because in the show, she already lives with her father, and
Oh
the
my
father, and
God.
both her and the father are moving to Miradero because again he found work here.
And you know,
So,
and you know,
okay,
and you know,
I think the aunt found the roach.
So the big difference here is that the plot is about these two reconnecting and blah blah blah.
hey, can the
Oh.
plot be about spirits?
Yeah, again, for so far I want to warn you guys, we're
Oh.
like near 20 minutes in, we had Spirit for like 2 minutes tops.
Oh, so there you go. I was right. The circus that her mother used to ride with, that was the people she met earlier. Basically,
Also,
in the
sorry,
show,
go on.
she meets a circus with her grandparents from her mother's side who own the circus in season 4,
And
essentially.
her first instinct is that she desires to go with them, mind you. It takes a bit before she actually takes a proper decision, but immediately as soon as she meets them, she has this kind of instinct to actually join them.
For context, this was after she ran away from home because she didn't like the fact that her father was dating her teacher.
Again, despite lots of stuff happening in the show, even though it matters only superficially. Secret room.
What?
Oh, let me guess. It's all the stuff of her mother because her father
Yeah.
can't bear to remember because it's too painful.
Also, the scene, the dialogue between Lucky and her father at that moment where they had that like awkward silence kind of thing, and it was just painful.
Okay, so let's talk about comparing this to the show directly. Do you feel that this looks better than the show? And I don't just mean simple.
Oh,
definitely.
Wait,
Man.
hold
yes,
on.
yeah.
Hold on.
I'm willing to say yes, but only to an extent. This animation has still problems. It fluids better, yes, I will tell that. And the color palette is a bit more balanced thanks also to the lighting. Things that actually have shadows for a change, But there's still the problem with, like, the eyes, man.
Oh my
Like-
god, 2D animation! I mean, it's limited, but holy cow, 2D animation.
You were saying, Jeva?
For me, it's complicated. Like, okay, on a base level, yes, it definitely looks better than the show. However, like I've mentioned, there are several points where this movie looks incredibly uncanny in ways that, I can't believe I'm saying this, the original show at least looked fine during. I don't know, maybe it's Stockholm Syndrome and I just got used to the god-awful look of the show. But, yes, the ugliness of the show aside, it did feel like it did take some lengths to avoid getting too uncanny. Most of the time, it still had some bouts here. Whereas here...
And then Jeva, Lucky's new baby sister was born.
Also,
yeah, that
Miradero
little
actually looks
hellspawn.
like an actual, new town instead of just a couple of buildings.
I
I will
want-
give it that.
I wonder, do you guys think they were going to try and use this movie to springboard a new spirit riding phrase series?
Might as well say something, by the way. All of
Hey,
you
bro.
fans of the original Spirit movie, okay, you guys are talking about the show, but what about the original film? Don't worry, everybody. This movie has nothing to do with the original film.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like I said, even down to the basic concept, the horses do not have very inner thoughts, which was a proper gimmick that the first movie had in order to convey more character to also Spirit and the other animals. But here, fuck no, it's all about them humans.
Hey, Tio, I'm actually curious. So you weren't with us for our original commentary
wasn't.
of it. Did you like the original Spirit movie?
I mostly ignored it. Again, from the 2D animation stuff, I was mostly caring about, again, Sinbad, the Prince of Egypt. I think there was something else, but
Road to El Dorado?
yeah, Road to El Dorado, that too. But that was pretty much it.
Also, Spirit got captured off screen, I see.
Yeah, by the totally not villain guys.
That is a thing that happened on screen during the show. So, the bad guys start off as, farmhands working for Prue's dad. Huh. I mean, they weren't clear-cut bad guys in the original show, so...
Like I said, Drova, they did have a couple of people they could use. Again, first and foremost, Butch Lepre.
Yeah. And
Also,
heck,
dude, if you're riding horses, you should learn to strap the saddle yourself. It's not actually that hard.
Don't you see, Sherry? He's the bad guy. He has his henchman doing everything for him.
oh, wait.
Seriously, Prue's papa has a lot less
Oh.
facial hair.
Oh, so in this case, they just came on to the ranch, but we treat horses with respect here. Okay, to be fair, unlike...
Ha, ha, ha.
Anyway...
Take a swig, Tia.
Wait a minute.
Mm.
Wait a minute. I just realized, Prue has blue highlights in her hair. What the hell?
I thought she had like blue ribbons in her hair.
I don't remember.
Oh wait, never mind. That sure is right. Those are blue ribbons. However, so, okay, to be fair, unlike Season 1 of Spirit Riding Free, they actually do a good job of showing how these guys are absolutely mistreating Spirit as opposed to, you know...
They said it again.
What did they say?
Why wasn't that line in the trailer?
Spirit, Jova.
They're kind of hammering it in Torsko. Again, why wasn't that kind of like in the trailer? Unless it was and I just missed it.
Okay, like I said... He secretly enjoys this if this is like the show. Wait for it.
Got a lot of script telling 101 and never do the whole so
there
you're
we
telling
go.
me.
He loves it. Again, okay, for those who have not seen the show, basically Jim doesn't have a good relationship with his father.
There's also the fact that Jim, at least in the show, was one of the more sympathetic characters. He still had its weird and stupid moments, but he was one of the ones that he was genuinely caring
Dreamworks
for.
face.
I don't know, Taylor. A lot of Lucky's bullshit is because he refuses to man up and punish her when he should.
To be
That
fair,
is-
he did
that is
punish her
true.
every now and then.
That is
in
true,
the show.
Pedro, but I'm also talking about the standards of the show in itself. Among the sea of badness, he stands out at the very least.
Wait, hold on. So this is weird. So an earlier scene suggested that he didn't know Lucky well, but now this scene is suggesting that they're well in tune.
I'm guessing they're doing a like father, like daughter thing.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of cute. Get it? They think she's talking about a boy.
I'm just gonna drink more, why not?
What? Oh, wait. I've seen this before. Let me guess. Oh, there we go! Your mother died on a horse, Lucky! I forbid you to ride that horse!
Really? You're doing this plot?
Wow!
Yeah, okay. What was that series of movies that had the father not wanting the girl to dance because like the dance killed off her mother or something, and yet she still goes to the dance school?
I don't...
I swear that there was something like that.
I got a better comparison. Racing Stripes. Back in the early 2000s, it's basically a movie about a zebra who wants to be a racehorse, but the subplot is that, of course, the human girl wants to ride him, but of course her father doesn't want her to ride that zebra because her mother died in a horse racing accident. Hell, the Herbie movie. Lindsay Lohan's dad doesn't want her to race because her mother died in a racing accident. Like, okay, look, I'm not saying that this kind of plot is impossible, but are you really trying if you're stooping to something that easy, especially when that was not a goddamn thing in the show? Lucky's dad was absolutely fine with her riding horses, despite the fact that her mother died. Granted, I don't recall if her mother did die from a horse racing accident, but
No, that's a thing, Joe. But the show never actually explains how she died. She just did. Okay. Yeah, if you want to see this kind of plot, then watch the Tango TV series. But like this.
Oh my god, these knots are handled so poorly. They can be so easily undone.
Also, guys, Spirit's really just terrified of Lucky's face. Seriously,
I mean, maybe that's just revenge. It really just wanted some screen time.
Okay. I'm going to at the very least give one positive. One of the big problems with the original show, specifically season 1, is how Lucky and Spirit became fully bonded in one episode. In this movie, based on what we've seen from the trailers and marketing, it seems like they're actually going to bond to at the very least try to have her somewhat earn Spirit's trust. So at the very, that's definitely an improvement over what the show did, at least.
And also, like I said with season 1, they actually do a better job of differentiating who is clearly abusing Spirit from people like Prue's dad, who are supposed to be the ones rooting for, regardless of the fact that Prue's dad was the one who wrangled Spirit in the first place. But no, this movie actually does seem to be going out of its way to show that the bad guys are actually abusing the horses in ways that they shouldn't be abused.
I want to address what Abigail just said, by the way. Horses are... oh God, what was it? I lost my train of thought.
Prefer sweet things.
Not just that, before that too.
They don't like eating potatoes.
Well, whatever. I'll say it later.
She came in only to say the food stuff there. I don't know if you're looking for something else.
Yeah, I don't really think there was anything else to it.
Don't worry, I'll mention it later.
Okay, yeah, this movie's definitely going to better lengths to show the lengths you have to get a horse to trust you, so...
I still really don't get this kind of decision. Again, Spirit is not really the protagonist anymore. He's just someone who's bonding with him instead. But...
That said, though...
according to Ari, this is also that little girls can find their inner adventurer, as she says in that interview.
Guys...
Why don't you make an original IP and not just attach it to maybe loosely to the property in some fashion? Why do you have to ruin an existing property for that?
Hey, you know what they could have done? Have the show be set in the future of Spirit riding... Oh.
Well, this is kind of supposed to, in a way.
No, hold on. Be set in the future of the show, not the... Well, okay,
also still
obviously,
not the bad guy.
The movie as well, but yeah. Also, yes, a montage song.
Generic pop song.
Also, Cora, is there a point? You
Oh, Dad.
always experimenting with gunpowder.
Oh, God, but don't you see she has to keep her life with Spirit
And yet
secret?
his face and his clothes are completely fine. Again, no stains at all in this movie.
I feel like even the show went to some lengths to show clothing damage here and there. Jesus.
They actually brought to show bruises in Spirit when he actually got hit.
Oh yes. I recall Shiroi hated that episode where Spirit was constantly getting pained and attacked and bleeding because, how did you put it, Shiroi? It was meant to tug at the heartstrings?
Burb.
Ow.
Why are you... What?
Get it? Abigail was playing the guitar of that song.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. As the series went on, they familiarized Abigail in turning it into kind of like a mixture between, say, if you're a fan of MLP, Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie into one character.
With the stupidity of Patrick Star.
Yeah, and like remove all the charm and clever writing that Pinkie Pie ever had in MLP, and you get Abigail. So, just the painful kind of references.
What is the strong... Oh, I get it. It's to show that Spirit feels that he's stronger on his own.
Hey, at the very least, it's a background song, and the movie is not actually erupting into a musical number. I will give it that.
Okay. I'll give this movie credit.
Dreamworks hasn't made musicals since the hand-drawn movies, too, so...
Okay, I'll give this movie credit. The songs don't seem bad so far.
They're just generic.
Also, don't the Trolls movie do that?
Hey, look, singing...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Also, still not a bad guy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So here's one question I have, guys. For a movie called Spirit Untamed, why does it feel like the movie is about Lucky taming Spirit?
That's because instead in my country, I don't know if that's supposed to be the actual meaning, because in my country the movie is called Spirit the Rebel.
Oh, in my country it's called Spirit Invincible.
Okay, DreamWorks, can you pick a consistent theming?
Shiroi, did Wales name it something different?
No, Jova,
No.
no.
No, I'm curious, honestly. But,
actually, I'll check in the meantime what the other language
she's
is.
wearing her outfit from the show.
Cool.
No, we did not, Jova.
Cool, thanks. I never really cared for her outfit. I honestly found it one of the more bland ones from the show. But I guess this is that it's more ride-worthy. But, Shiroi...
Lucky, you are aware that that's a dangerous thing you're doing right now, right?
Pedro, let natural selection
Yeah, exactly.
run its course.
Just
Oh,
let
yes,
her go.
Jova?
Sure, I recall you really hated a particular episode of Season 3 where Spirit got bloodied, battered, and beaten as he tried to make his way home.
Yeah.
How was it you put it? It was meant to tug at the heartstrings?
Yeah.
Why was it you hated that?
I don't remember.
Because it was manipulative. I remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm checking here. In French, the movie is called Spirit the Indomitable.
Okay. Let's all just agree that Hunter Dragon 1 did this sequence better and move on.
Yeah, that too.
This
But here's the
just
thing,
in.
Pedro. Okay.
This just in. Local girl trampled to death by horses as they appear to be doing what is a tango.
Are they doing the tango? What the hell is this music?
Okay, between this and that excuse that Lucky pulled before at the table, I'm starting to get a bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
Also, I think I've noticed my issue with Lucky in this movie. She constantly has a derpy smile on her face, like, oh, how wonderful and whimsical, without any of the nuance. And half the time it makes her come off as a demon from hell with how uncanny she looks with that smile. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, but seriously, I can't believe I'm saying this. Lucky feels like she's missing some of the nuance that her show counterpart had.
But here's the thing, Pedro. Okay, I don't know if it's a problem with Wikipedia, but it says here that the actual Portuguese title, as in OG, not Brazilian, should be the same of the American one, Spirit Untamed.
Well,
I don't know.
I can tell you it's not.
Okay, it must be an error then.
Aw, how cute.
I'll double check. Why not? Might as well.
Up.
You need to respect personal space.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, here I can even link it to you.
I will say this, at the very least, the pace of the movie has slowed down a bit, because, again, we're 30 minutes in, but already so much stuff has happened.
Yeah, we're technically a third of the way into the movie. Like, I guess the plot is gonna be about these two coming to terms. Like,
oh no!
Oh yes.
Hold on, Tail. Let's see if he's just as bad as in the show, because so far he hasn't been. Oh, there you go. I get.
I'm not believing this.
Hold on.
Snips is actually being helpful.
Okay, that's kind of sad. The bad education. Poor Senor Carrot.
Oh no.
Lucky.
No, this is not how you do things. The horses get scared if you do that.
Yeah, go do it! Yay!
Oh God, man! Snips is
It's okay. It's okay. Fortunately, we're putting on cartoon logic.
So Snips is fine.
That said, though, Snips has been on the receiving end quite a bit.
So far, Snips just seems like your generic comic relief
Okay,
sidekick.
I will admit, Pedro, yes, he's not attempting at people's lives. Yes, that's a thing that actually happened multiple times in the show, but he still has annoying qualities.
Okay. In the meantime, Tail, I linked it to you the cinema chain that has the movie in my country. They literally call it Spirit Invincible. You can read it
Okay.
right there.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Those wanted posters. That's literally the guy. He is on the wanted posters.
Walrus,
Seriously, that's literally him. Shouldn't Bruce father have recognized him?
How much is the money reward? It's
$100.
$100.
Okay.
Supposed to be this stupid. Also, back then, $100 I think was a lot of money.
We're actually moving the posters.
Hold on. Sure. You say back then. Back when? They never specify when this takes place.
But it's clear that it's like a long time ago.
Less. Okay,
a long time ago, somewhere far, far away.
Well, honestly,
yes, that's what we're going with.
Honestly, Sherry, $100, even for the time period, is still a very flimsy reward.
This is the sequence that that Dreamworks showed in the marketing, where Spirit nearly kills Lucky.
I will have my screen time.
Well, I guess to give him credit, Spirit has been getting more screen time in this movie than he normally did in an episode. And no, folks, I am not kidding. Some episodes, Spirit is lucky to have more than 3 minutes on.
All right, I've already dissected what is one of the if not the major problem of this movie. This is supposed to be a tense sequence where Lucky might die, and yet the movie's still treating it in a very lighthearted, cartoony fashion. They still have her do all those weird lefty wacky poses. Yeah, if the movie doesn't actually treat this as a genuinely tense, death-defying scenario, why should I be fearful for her life right now?
I guess the idea is that it's not supposed to be fearful, but more like, okay, in a sense where there is danger, but it's
Like
more
now
in a
we're
wacky
doing
sense.
it,
Oh,
but it's a
snap.
bit late for that.
Not to mention, Abigail.
Ah,
Jesus
seriously,
Christ.
seriously, Lucky's face in this movie.
I love what she says now. Okay, Isabel, I'm sure you're a nice lady, but you don't really work with this role.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that is, to be fair, at least they're not having Lucky be the amazing prodigy at riding a horse, so that's an improvement from the show, because...
You're grounded, little lady. What? You're not gonna go full King Triton and forbid her from leaving the house? Come on, I'm so disappointed in you. Come on, that's part
hold
Maybe
on,
the
wait,
Marvels.
hold on. Now he's about to read the riot.
That's such a good point, actually, that he just made. Lucky, yeah, okay, here's one problem that she has from the show. Lucky, believe it or not, that's not even if they're mistreating the horse, that's not your business.
Well, there you go, Pedro. He's sending her back to the city.
And now she's turning into a you problem. Fuck you.
Yeah, Lucky, this is your fault.
Okay.
It's like I said, Sheila. Her argument that the woman's treating the horse. Okay, that's true, but that's still none of your business.
Okay.
This is why I
Believe
have
it or
more
not,
sympathy towards Jim in the show, despite him actually not taking action. Because most of the time, again, he's more of a victim rather than, just an instigator.
and even when he does give her discipline, Lucky just disobeys it anyway. But believe it or not, folks, Lucky is actually improved from here than she was in Season 1, Episode 5. That was the turning point when we realized this show wasn't just bad, it was terrible and sending a terrible example to its target audience. Because, believe it or not, at the very least, in this movie, Lucky does have definitive proof that, yes, the guys are actually abusing.
Oh, look, Jella, the boots from the show.
Which were of her mothers, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a problem I have with both the show, and I can already see that this movie keeps it. Until this is over.
Okay, so in the movie, the grandfather took Lucky from the dad because he thought that the dad wasn't really fit to look after the death of her mother.
Okay, I kind of like the joke where there's dynamite house to clean the house.
Okay, that was kind of funny. Okay. If I can give this movie one credit, at the very least with the better animation, they can time stuff much better comedically.
Yeah, that is true. One of the problems with the show is that whenever they try to have slapstick comedy, the animation
And
just
he's not
didn't
seeing her! Ah!
How did you not see that?
This is beyond tunnel vision!
Sheila, I get the feeling Jim has worse eyesight than you.
Did you just be
Also, why is there a
temporarily
giant
blinded
cog?
for the last 5 seconds? What the
Maybe
fuck?
it's implied that came from an explosive or something.
Okay,
Oh, wait,
I don't want to discuss.
Wait, hold on. Now we're doing the Lucky running away thing from seasons 3 and 4? Okay.
I get that here is that she wants to actually experience that.
Actually, Joe, it's more from 4 and 5 than actually.
It's still, again... Oh, please. I thought it was a train.
No, Tio, it's just a music number.
Oh.
With fireflies.
Whimsical!
No,
and completely unearned.
This is not... Whatever. Anyway,
Also, get off the train tracks, Lucky.
Sure. Like I said, I get the feeling Jim Prescott is has worse eyesight than you.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay, Pedro, I'm gonna be honest. It feels like this movie is trying to adapt the entire series rather than just season 1.
just like in a mishmash kind of way.
Yeah, they're
Anyway.
mashing elements.
Okay,
together.
but
But anyway, let me just finish my earlier point, though.
Yeah.
Okay, one big problem I have with the show, and this movie is, of course, keeping it. Of course, I hate this new thing where bad TV shows try to pose their, girl/boy character that's supposed to be a role model for the kids, who every single time something remotely bad happens, the kid goes to immediately take great risks to his or her own life to solve it. No, that's not a good message for kids. The kids shouldn't learn that they should meddle in every single little bad thing that happens around them, because that will cause them to go into constant danger. It's not a good message. Movie,
Okay.
show. It's not a good message.
I think what a scenario like that requires is context to facilitate it. Like if, say, the system is literally corrupt and even the parents don't see it, but only the kids do, then fine, I get it. But they still need to at least try to do it the sensible way before resorting to those more reckless actions. Like, to give credit to the Lone Ranger, the character did actually try to do stuff by the book until he realized, oh yeah, there is no justice, so I'm gonna just have to pony up and do it myself. It made sense there.
Pony up.
That being said, Jova, you know what?
Oh snap, Spirit looks like he's about to kill her.
I will have my screen time.
This is my movie.
Damn it.
Keep telling yourself that, Spirit.
My name is on the title card.
So how is she going to get to Spirit's heart? For singing?
I will say, you know what, Jeva?
Yeah?
We're halfway through this so far, and I can already tell that this is exactly what we thought the show was going to be. Just a generic cash grab. Like, it doesn't even have the same level of stupidity and insanity that the show has.
So
this is literally the generic, forgettable thing that we all thought the show was going to be.
okay, it's not entirely forgettable because it does have a lot of the silly qualities, but yeah, you're right. It's not as memorably bad as the show was.
I'm
That
also
being
getting
said-
something. Okay, it's partially also the animation, but considering also the type of plot that is handled as a sequel to Spirit Cimarron, this feels more like an actual direct-to-video kind of sequel, kind of like the ones that you will get for, like, say, this One Princess.
I was actually going to ask, did we get the clarification that this spirit is also a descendant, or...
It's the same. It's the
So
same
far
look
we
from-
haven't, but we might
Well,
as well imply
Well,
that.
considering Wari is writing this as well, I'm assuming the logic is the same here. The spirit is the spirit of Spirit and Rain.
Well, remember, Pedro, different universe, so for all we know, this could actually be the same spirit from the movie, especially if... How much... Okay, so they did push this being a sequel to the movie, but they have not clarified if this spirit is...
Okay, Hammer Space Logic, I get it, but apples can actually weigh a lot if they're in large quantities, Lucky. It's like,
Lucky's
for
just that damn strong to you.
For how much they are throwing there, it should be around 5 kilos at least.
So there you go, kids. If you want to tame a whole herd of horses, just give them apples.
That's what the Pokemon Snap game told me or something.
Just throw
Oh
an
no,
apple at it.
really? We're doing the buck subplot?
No, I don't think so. He's already born. So
Well...
True, but...
I think-
Okay, for context, show again. For the audience, the show had this kind of subplot that then got forgotten, is only brought up sporadically, about a newborn in Spirit's Herd that the girls actually get attached to, but get into wacky shenanigans.
also, one thing that I'm noticing right now.
Oh,
there's this-
snap.
You know what I'm noticing? Now that we're halfway through this thing.
Oh no, guys! The
It's
obviously
the
not
totally not villain.
Yeah. Gee, so he was the bad guy? I'm so shocked.
Where's
Also-
Grayson when you need him?
Yeah, bring back Grayson. Anyway, you know what I'm noticing right now as well?
Hmm?
There's a surprising lack of relationship development
Oh!
between Luck.
None of you heard it coming.
That...
A train is not stealth.
Oh, wait,
stealthy.
hold on. Oh, the train was all part of their ploy.
To wrangle them.
Of course, there's a surprising lack of relationship development between Lucky, Abigail, and Prue. I mean, they've barely talked to each other.
The
throughout
movie
this
definitely does
so-
seem like...
We're over halfway through it at this point.
And I'm gonna remind everybody, those three are supposed to be besties in the show.
Wait.
So-
So it turns out these guys were following Lucky, and she accidentally led them to the herd. I guess, to be fair, we did have that bout of foreshadowing with him looking evilly at Lucky.
Wait, is this a sequence where Lucky gets on top of the train and starts literally punching and kicking the bad guys?
Wait.
I wonder if instead it's just the setup and the climax will be freeing the herd.
Also, let me guess. Now Spirit is going to hate her for this because she led them to the herd.
It's not just that, Jova. We're gonna have the scene where she tries to explain her parent, but he's like, I do not believe you, or I don't care because you disobeyed me.
Because we need the plot to happen.
Oh, I guess Spirit is okay with teaming up with her.
Okay, again, I will agree.
Drastic measures.
I will agree with Pedro on that one. The movie is doing a better job and actually building up Lucky and Spirit's,
he trusts her now. Actually, okay.
He's not untamed anymore.
You gave apples to all my herd, so I trust you now.
Well, okay. To be fair, at least the whole befriending doesn't happen while he's in captivity, so I guess that's another improvement over the show.
That's right,
Speaking of improvement,
it's not like I could ask your dad for help or something. I need the help of another kid.
Also, I have to say, of all the main characters' respective horses, she kind of had so little screen time in this movie.
Okay, basically, folks, I've constantly said it during the show, Prue should have actually been the main protagonist. Like, Prue in the show is the one who actually knows about horses. But...
Spirit should have been the main protagonist. I'm sorry.
Okay. But Tio, that's the obvious one.
Pedro, we're doing the plot of a game. Now it's all about getting back the horde from people who want to wrangle the horses, get them onto a boat.
Oh my god, it is.
To this. Too, so that's
I don't mean the actual video
He's
game.
talking about the interactive episode.
The multiple choice video game.
The interactive special. You mean? Yeah, sure.
Mind you, Butch LaPre's little sister was the antagonist of that one.
So body trip.
Prue, you don't even know this girl at this point, so you probably should be saying, "Girl, you're crazy. Leave me alone."
Well, to be fair, she has gotten to know Lucky while Lucky was getting to know Spirit. Remember, Pager, she was encouraging Lucky the entire time she was trying to bond with Spirit.
No. Sorry, writer. Sorry, Ori. That's not how it works. You need to actually have the characters interact.
Oh, wait, what?
Not just... Abigail, what are you doing?
I guess her gimmick in this is that she has a guitar.
I get the idea they want to still have her being goofy, but they try to make her be more badass.
I guess the idea is that Abigail's more of the badass tomboy of the group, which, okay, I guess it's an improvement over her just being dumb, so... Yeah, also, those are some amazing shadow puppets.
It's an excuse for 2D animation, I'll take it.
Yeah. Again, Oh, Jesus! Holy... Whoa!
Okay, to be fair...
You okay, Tio?
To be fair, that shot was meant to be scary.
I
think it was for the wrong reasons.
You didn't expect a jump scare in this movie.
Okay.
This is really the Dark Universe movie.
Okay. Oh hey, Snips.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she also has this thing where she has a bubble gum on her mouth at all times, apparently.
Again, we're trying to make him more badass or something. Which, okay. I don't know, and I'm probably already too plastered to actually probably remember it. Jova, give me a hand on this. When was bubblegum invented?
Bubblegum. Let me see if I can remember.
It can't. Okay, I don't think it can be from the Old West period.
I'm sorry. I'm still kind of. I'm going to rebel and refuse to admit anything when it comes to that tale, because unless they give me somewhat of a defining time period, I'm not buying any of it.
Like the one occasion where you should be putting like a
1928 apparently.
Yeah, 1928.
Wow. But yeah, the one time you should actually give like the little like title description that says this place, this time period, and you don't even do it.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. Look. At least.
Oh. Yes, Jova, please go on.
I guess at least she can sing well, but okay, I'll admit, I kind of do like this take on Abigail better than the show. Like, I mean, yeah, when she is annoying, it's more so to the characters.
Thank you. Oh.
I don't know. I think Abigail's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Problem.
I'll actually admit, I actually am getting legit laugh side of Abigail in this, as opposed to,
Yeah, I don't mind her here, actually.
For me, it's the problem because annoying characters only work if we care about the characters being annoyed, and I don't give a rat's ass about either Lucky or Prue so far.
Oh, wow, so you care more about Abigail than Lucky.
Well, I don't care about Abigail either.
I mean,
so
that's fair.
You care about none of the three of these characters.
No, because the writing is doing a very poor job. In fact, actually, I'm gonna say it. The show actually did things better when it comes to these
I get
three.
it. I get
Wait.
it.
Are you sure you're going to include Abigail in that? Because...
No. I mean the relationship development, not the characterization. That's
Brilliant.
Okay, yeah, that's not going to work.
I will agree with you that Abigail is much better here, definitely.
I was about to mention, I get the idea that they sacrificed the character bonding of the three in order to build up a bit more the one between Lucky and Spirit.
Which,
guess.
to be fair, is probably the most important bond. Since, again, this movie should be about Spirit.
The problem is that this movie, including credits, is not even 90 minutes long. This movie is 1 hour and 27 minutes.
Wait. How?
Let me guess. There's the road.
A little... Oh, tough gal, I see.
Yeah, Abigail is the tough gal in this one.
Again, I'll take it over her just being the dumb blonde.
Please let her fall.
But I don't want Spirit to fall.
Oh, wait, guys.
It's a necessary sacrifice,
Hey,
too.
guys.
He's the protagonist!
Hey, guys. Throw back to the original...
Yes!
Oh.
And movie over.
Wait, hold on.
And she broke her back.
No, everyone's perfectly fine.
Wait, why are we cutting back to this?
Also, again, Jeans and
What
whatever
the fuck is
time
this editing?
this is supposed to
Not
be.
just that, also, why are you
Wait a minute,
having
actually,
Cora carrying on heavy objects?
actually, you know what? Let me check and see when jeans were made, just so I can put this thing of mine to rest.
Really? Not a single fucking bruise on your fucking body.
It's like the show, Pedro. Everyone's fine.
Sheila, since you yourself fell from a horse, how offended are you by this?
I mean, okay, the falling from the horse wasn't actually that bad because when you go horse riding, the floor is actually soft. It's like mostly soil or whatever they use. But the falling down rocks thing, no, that should have hurt a lot.
To
My
put in
brother fell off a
perspective,
bike
something
down a
like
hill,
something
and
like
that hurt a
mentioning
lot.
the FIFA 19 The Journey season. It's like playing football/soccer on concrete instead of an actual football field. If you
anyway.
fall, you really do feel it.
Okay. So regarding the jeans in this movie, jeans were technically invented on May 20th, 1873. So we could maybe conclude that this takes place in the late 1800s, or maybe it's in some bout of the early 1900s, since apparently there's gum as well.
I think we did mention at some point by watching the show that the twist would have been kind of like the village where Miradero is kind of contained in a bubble outside of society. Like
that would explain a lot.
Far, yeah, I can already tell how the rest of the movie is gonna go. We're in the climax at this point, basically.
Wait,
okay.
no.
Excuse me? Where did this come from?
Pedro. We cannot be at the climax already. Like, we're only...
Java, we're literally 30 minutes away from the end.
no, we're actually Pedro at the body trip portion. The climax will arrive as soon as they actually reach the villain and the train.
Regardless. Okay, my point is, yeah. I can already tell another big issue with this movie. The story is done in a very by the numbers checklist type of manner. It feels incredibly formulaic and again exactly what we were expecting from the show.
Trust in Spirit. Oh, also listen to your dead mother
Use
too.
the Force, Lucky.
Yes.
No. When you're riding a horse, you need to have something to hold on to.
It's not even that. Like, okay, that is nice and all, but it's still Spirit that has to do it. Like, Oh,
That's
A
the
music
song that her
number.
mom used to sing to her
I
when she was
don't
a baby too.
care.
But Tio, it's a charming scene.
She's
I
trying to
don't
calm down.
care.
Well, tough.
Look, Tio, this is how she concentrates and does not fall to her death. If she stops singing, then she dies.
Also, whatever. No, bad idea,
Tio.
crew.
How did that not break when you built up the clips? Like
Okay.
your bones.
Again, Shira, like I said, we're operating on cartoon logic.
Not just
So
that,
nobody-
Shira. The guitar was always Abigail's. It was only Lucky who fell.
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not to mention, yeah, combining that, at this point, I'm not at all tense. What reason do I have to fear for whether or not they're going to make it? Because Lucky, clearly, this movie has already established that Lucky has unbreakable bones.
Okay,
So what reason do I have to fear for her life in this?
to be fair, that one fall she had is way smaller than the fall they could have here, so at the very least, we have a scale of tension in that regard.
To
so I
be fair,
can see
that's
what
the thing,
tension would
Jova.
be.
We had
That's
that
the
kind
thing,
of
Jova.
conflict scene, but it was like for like 1 minute. Then she starts singing and everything is fine.
That's the problem, Jova. See, here's the thing. If the show, I would buy that, Jova, if the show had actually shown that she at the very least got hurt by that fall. Not necessarily dead, but hurt.
Yeah.
Like, to show that there are actual stakes in this bloody thing.
That is a good point. Like, I recall characters actually getting injured from stuff like that in the show as well, too. So
Again, do something like what Anne of Green Gables does, where Anne, after giving into peer pressure, gets a leg broken.
you know,
Show that you have reasons to fear for what these characters might do.
like heck, if I recall correctly, even Lucky got injured at some point because of an accident with Spirit too.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yes. So.
Okay.
This is the problem. Okay. I have reached the diagnosis.
Okay.
Here's the diagnosis. The characters are an improvement, but the story is a massive downgrade.
Well, okay, okay.
Probably tied to the fact that they're trying to adapt several things at the same time.
Okay. The story being a downgrade is something I would say both yes and no to. Because, again, unlike simply being a reimagining of Season 1, this feels like it's trying to be a reimagining of the show as a whole because
Yes,
of
you
the
are.
elements they're taking from multiple seasons. What? What's wrong to you?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's like, again, I feel like some aspects of a story are actually done better in the movie. That being said, there are other aspects in the show that are done worse in the movie because, there's only so much you can fit
Okay.
in a movie.
Let me clarify, Jova. When I say
Hey,
story,
the pals!
there you go, reference to the show. So yeah, I guess Olive thought to herself, "Oh yeah, I forgot to develop these two free. I can't rely on just what the show was."
I guess
there you go, campfire scene.
Okay,
There you go.
okay. To be fair, they have been getting to bond over the course of the trip.
And this
as
is probably
well.
the best scene they got for the bonding thing, but
And I'll give
Too
it
little, too
this.
late at this point, if you ask me.
I'll give it this. It does feel natural and all. That said, you guys are calming down considering the fact that you are chasing after dangerous criminals who could very well kill you and whatnot.
I'm not saying that you should extinguish the fire like in Lord of the Rings because it will attract the bad guys, but composure.
Hold on, here's Snips again.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, okay,
Snips.
okay. So Snips
Yeah,
is being tortured.
I
so
get
that's nice.
the idea that people who made this movie understood how much of an annoying shit nugget Snips is in the show, so they took all
wanted to
the
throw you a
occasions.
bone here.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing here. Remember, the people who wrote this movie are the show's writers. So,
But the producers are different, I think.
yeah, they are.
Okay. That's actually kind of
Okay. Another thing that is consistent with the show. Prue's father seems to be
Hold on.
the more reasonable.
Okay, movie, slow the fuck down. This is
Oh,
literally the first
snap.
conversation, this is literally the first conversation between these two. They're not, advice friends material yet. This
Well,
is their first
that's the thing.
conversation.
That's the thing, Pedro. They've been off screen because remember, Bruce father and Jim have been in the town already for a long time, so they know each other already and everything.
To be
Okay,
fair,
I
this
guess.
is mainly just a scene of him informing him that the girls have gone after.
Not just that, like he said, Bruce
Oh,
father
he has
manages
his own.
to be the more reasonable and come up with the better ideas. At the very least, there's that.
He has his
The
own
fastest
personal train. How neat.
Still, we haven't seen Abigail's parents yet. Again, the show actually, it's a thing, in case you don't know, like it's kind of like a running gag. The show barely shows Abigail and Nipsey's parents. We get like a silhouette one time, and then we get an actual payoff like at the very end. Or what, a couple of seconds.
The last season. Well, oh wait, two. Actually, we finally got to see them properly.
Yeah, remember,
in
we-
the last
Yeah,
season.
that's what I mean. But it was like for very little, and at the very end.
I don't know. Here's the also apparently.
Wait, what?
No.
Wait,
No,
wait.
so-
Dream
No.
sequence.
Or planning, yeah.
Like,
Okay,
come on.
Dream-
Like,
Yeah,
come on.
Dream- Okay, this is just imagination. Okay.
Like, I mean, come on. I know we've seen crazy stuff on the show, but even that.
Okay then. Let me clarify what I was saying earlier, Jova. When I said
Oh,
the
Spirit
story-
is going Leroy Jenkins. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain, Joe. But when I say the story is a downgrade, I don't mean the individual plot points. I mean the way the story is told, how it's paced, how it's structured. The problem with this story.
Hey,
is
oh,
that it
guys, he said it. Must be my lucky day.
Let me check who actually is voicing Walrus. But go on, Pedro.
Because, yeah, like you said, some individual plot points may be technically an improvement, but they don't mean anything in a vacuum if they're not in a well-paced and well-structured story. The problem is that this movie goes by way too fast. As a result, we don't really get to slow down and develop anything to a very substantial degree. As a result, this feels like a very by-the-numbers checklist type of movie that just does the bare minimum to not be a train wreck.
So it's weird in a sense. Like I said, you know what would be the best case in scenario? Like, okay, import the look of the movie for the show. Like, yes, it definitely is not a great looking movie, but compared to the show, like we've mentioned, it looks a lot better, and the animation can work better for the comedic timing. Also, just make this version of Abigail the canon version, because, again, this version of Abigail is way more legit funny, and, I actually do get a kick out of her.
We haven't actually added a new proper entry into the show since last year. So, considering this movie's utter failure, both critically and especially money-wise, I'm wondering if Dreamworks is going to pull the plug on this.
Okay.
A man can hope.
For as much as I hate to say it, and this isn't just because I do get a kick out of how terrible the show can be, it would kind of be a shame if this movie...
Okay, that's the return of classic Abigail right there. That was just a stupid, inappropriate thing to say.
To be fair, that was just our hokey way of saying that we shouldn't give up.
There you go. Sorry, go on.
To be fair, that was the thing she did even in
that movie.
That was the thing she did even before in season 1, before she became, complete brain dead. So. It would be a shame if this movie turned out to be the reason that the show gets canceled, because, look, for as terrible as the show is, I wouldn't call this movie being its fault. Again, from what I understand, even some diehard fans of the show probably were ticked off by this movie because, well, in a lot of ways it doesn't really feel like a good representation of a show itself. Yeah, how about that? You're misrepresenting Spirit riding free of all things.
Here, I can help you, Joe, but here's what's happening. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. See, the show itself is goddamningly terrible, and as a result of it, it's ironically, what makes it very memorable for all the wrong reasons. This movie, on the other hand, improves upon the show's problems. The problem is that it doesn't go all the way. Instead, it just goes from being terrible to just being a very mediocre, forgettable, whatever movie.
Well, not to say, and like you said, it manages to do some things worse than the show. Like, I can sort of see how the show may have garnered a fan base here and there. Again, like I said, if this movie is the reason that the show gets canceled, that would be kind of unfair. Like, look, if a show itself is going to get canceled, I feel like it should be because of the show itself. Not because of some movie which, clearly isn't taking the cues it should have been taking from the show.
Also, I love how, I get it, kids movie and all, but none of these people are using guns.
Remember, cartoons nowadays aren't really allowed to
I
use guns.
swear someone did actually use guns in the show at some point. The villain, that is totally not villain, is actually voiced by Walton Goggins. If you don't know, it was in stuff like The Next Character Kid, The Bourne Identity, and Django Unchained.
Huh.
So I guess that's fitting.
Wow, so,
Also, the 2018 Tomb Raider movie. Also, he's been one of the supporting characters, if I recall correctly, in Invincible. So,
Woo!
enjoy that.
I believe I can fly.
Let me check the score. Who did this? Because it is so memorable. Emmy Doherty. I don't know her.
That horse
Ow.
went higher after the peak of its jump. How did that happen?
Wait. Hold on. The shot clearly shows Spirit hurting his like rear foot, like the hoof, and that shot is usually goes to indicate that he's gonna limp, but no. He's perfectly fine.
To be fair, horses can make some big jumps, and even though his legs did look like that, he didn't twist it, at least.
Horses' legs are very fragile.
Okay. It depends on the leg strength, from what I have researched. Granted, I guess we can assume that Spirit
is still a weak point because, as you can also see, one thing I guess they got right is the anatomy. Near the hoof part, there isn't that much muscle tissue, meaning that any impact can be.
Guys, here's a visual reference to a scene from the original film, I guess.
Hooray!
Yes. And
okay, we'll say this: it's more than what the show actually did. There is that.
Hey, they're actually letting Spirit get a lot of the action in this movie.
Well, it is his movie.
Sure. Again, if you're just coming in without knowing anything about the show and just having seen the first movie, it will become
okay.
really alienating.
Okay, that was kind of funny. The whole I don't get paid enough for this guy just yeeting himself off.
Dude, if you damage this horse, you ain't gonna get the money you want.
This is not to see, Shira, at this point, it's personal.
What? You
asked for it. Bye.
I'm going to physically fight a horse. That totally is gonna go well.
Not just that, it got already a scar from a previous encounter with Spirit. What did you think was gonna happen?
Pedro, it has the same energy as Ash running up Punch Mewtwo.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's still quite a bit of time left in the movie, though.
There's credits, remember?
Yeah.
What? Why? Why did you
jump off? Oh.
Why can't you stay on the boat and wait?
Wait, what are you doing?
I guess it's because...
Okay, can horses even swim?
Yes, they can.
I know that it's aerodynamic. It looks aerodynamically impossible, but yes, we can. I love how the sky is turning. God is applying the red filter. Like this is supposed to be part of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Jump to safety.
It's the same logic that God used in Pagemaster too.
Also,
Dramatic moments.
the
Red
water
filter for that.
the water still looks like and Lucky cannot swim. Okay.
Well, again, at least they seem to be going out of their way to not make Lucky a Mary Sue
You
like
are
the show.
so grounded when we get home, lady.
I just see they turned out fine, so everything's forgiven. Or something. All right, we need an action scene with also the other two. Okay, thanks for the Donkey Kong reference, I guess. Oh.
Yes, your parents do exist. There you go. Discipline right there and then.
Why did they needed to swim? I don't, whatever. Fuck it, the movie's almost over.
So let me get this straight. Lucky, quote unquote, finding herself, and blah blah blah, is based on her saving this one herd of horses. Not to mention, for a movie that was also supposed to repair the relationship between her and the father and the daughter didn't really speak that much with each other between this movie.
Hold on. Yeah, you're not.
I'm not putting your life and your friends' lives in danger.
No. Don't you see, guys, her craziness? She gets it from her mother.
But the stuff she's doing isn't regular teenage antics. It's actively reckless and endangering.
Sure. Her mother would have done the same thing, and that makes it okay.
It doesn't.
Is that the positive message that the audience consensus talks about? Because I don't find this to be a positive message at all.
This is the message that's very frequent in the show, though. It's okay as long as it's Lucky.
So, better or worse than the show?
Better. Still better.
The message itself, you mean? About as bad, if you ask me.
I'm gonna
meant the movie.
I'm gonna guess we're on the same level, but for different reasons.
I'm kind of gonna agree with Shiroi that I kind of do consider this better than the show. That being said,
the eagle, like in the original movie. See, guys, that's totally like the original Spirit.
Okay, and hey, just like the original Spirit, they do have songs, so yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna agree with Shiroi. I consider this overall better than the show. That being said, I still recognize that this is probably a big insult to the show and fans of the show because, well, you probably would have just been better off, making a completely different thing than, a take on the show that's clearly different, unless you're planning an alternate universe line for this. Well, again...
This was a whole lot of nothing of a movie.
Well, Pedro, there's always the video game.
Oh yeah, there's got a video game.
That's the thing, Jova. I looked into it. The video game is boring as all fuck. I'm not doing it.
How's the story?
It's barely existent.
It's not even an adaptation of the story of this movie.
No, it's an original story, and it's told in visual novel style.
Wait, hold on. But that can't be, because one of the character models is clearly the main bad guy from this movie.
It shares characters from the movie, but it has its own story.
So I'm gonna have to do it for the channel, aren't I?
You could say no.
Yeah.
If you want to, go ahead, but I'm not doing it, because the game looks boring as all hell.
But yeah, okay, like I said, I did overall like this better than the show. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a problem. I kind of, in a sick way, love the show for how... Wait, why doesn't he just occasionally visit you like in the show?
That's the Stockholm Syndrome talking, Jova.
Yes, it is. But honestly, what's this about how your herd needs you? Just visit him like you do in the show. Oh, snap. Maybe they really do split ways.
No, I think he's, trying to... I don't know.
Cheer her up.
There's...
this is why removing the inner thoughts is a big problem for both this and the show. It deprives the spirit of any character, and you're basically left to understand what he's trying to convey through his action, which itself would not be a big of a problem. But when you run into moments like these, where you're not even absolutely sure what we're trying to do.
Apparently, Spirit was telling her to come with him and live among the herd.
It is that kind of a shame, though. Like, Tio, did people just hate the inner monologues of Spirit? I mean, I personally didn't.
Okay, I don't think so.
No. The primary complaint people had with the original film was the Bryan Adams songs. Again, same problem people had with the Phil Collins songs in Tarzan and Brother Bear. They're spelling out the emotional subtext for you instead of allowing you to just figure it out on your own, you know? The narration, though, no, I never remember anybody having a problem with.
Also, was that just a reference to the old VHS cover?
I believe, yeah, that was.
So.
I think so, yes.
As does this Valley seem like it, which again I have to ask, is this one supposed to be like, this is the same Spirit from the original movie, or is it a descendant? Again, because this is a different universe from the show.
I'm guessing Ollie wanted to have a somewhat conclusive ending just in case.
No. This is the thing. Oh, they got separated, but it's surprising but towards the end now he showed up again because it changed.
Oh, wait, hold on. But no, Lucky actually has to go back to the city because again, she only comes to Miradero for summers. Huh.
Nah, the father's probably gonna decide, nah, you can live with me.
I want to wear the one my mother wore.
Dress, of course.
By the way, Aunt Cora, you were really pointless in this movie, weren't you?
Yeah, she really did not do much.
Hey, I brought you to Miradero. That was helpful, and I bumped a few bad guys with an oar.
Yeah, also, really, oh, there you go. It's one of our dresses from the show as well.
Okay, folks. For those who don't know, Aunt Cora actually got a lot of character development herself.
She actually had an arc.
So it is kind of a shame to see her kind of shunted to the background.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Teo. This random guy just kind of is coming onto her and
and she doesn't seem to have a problem with it.
I guess I'll take these over the fucking ghouls, I suppose.
This is
hey, look, Lucky.
I can't say it's sexual harassment, but it feels like it's something crossing that path.
Let's not. Hey, look, Lucky, this was your mother's favorite place. It was also where she died in the opening.
Also, she has Chun-Li's, head.
Oh, there you go, see? He just asked...
I am home. So, yeah, I guess we're not going to have her and Spirit reunite. Like,
I was going to say Spirit's out of his own movie now.
No, like you said, he's going to show up near the end and say he change his mind, and that's the story of how people live happily ever after in Miradero.
Hey, I know why fans of the movie probably hate this even more than the show, because this one, no, they once again advertise this as a direct sequel.
Oh my god, Jake Gyllenhaal is going to sing.
No.
Can he sing?
Okay. Yeah, it's a fine... Yeah, true, it's a fine joke, I'll give it.
Fair enough. Hey, Snips.
Also, who was Nips on top of? Like
Abigail.
Yeah, too.
Oh, okay, sorry, didn't recognize her.
Okay, now that's better. Oh, now she likes it here.
Oh, there you go. Oh, never mind. It's the horse girl.
He'll show up. No, he'll show up behind them probably.
Yeah, something like that, or like in the distance.
I'm frustrated by this because
this is so mediocre. This is so generic and bland.
This is so depressing.
Really
Alexa, play Despacito.
It's such a frustrating stance because by the show standard.
Oh, there's Spirit.
He's free. He's Spirit riding free.
Yeah. Or Untamed.
Wait. No, wait. Is this movie seriously going to end with Spirit riding free? Because that is actually the point. He's supposed to be a horse that's riding free. Like,
okay,
oh my god.
I'm genuinely shocked if they actually pulled that off.
And
Oh my
They do
god!
it again.
They
Ah.
actually kept to the point that Spirit is
The
supposed to be a horse that...
madman.
They did the thing.
Wow! That's... Also, Pedro... Oh, wait, hold on. So what happened to that scene of Lucky kicking...
It's Kevin Wellington and Kristen Hahn, aka two of the show's writers. One of them
Yeah,
being
sorry, I mean, your score was kind of
Hey,
underwhelming.
Pedro. What happened to that trailer bit where Lucky is kicking the bad guys off the train, but at nighttime? Oh, Machina Grace, whoever the... Wait a minute. Machina Grace? Oh, wait, no.
I'll check her filmography in the meantime.
But yeah, what happened to that? Wait, Julianne Moore?
Yeah, Julianne Moore plays Cora.
Huh.
Why did you bother getting Julianne Moore for this movie if you're gonna do nothing with her character?
The casting is weird, but...
Celebrity to promote the movie with.
But okay. What happened to the more grounded version of Lucky battling the guys atop the train at nighttime? Like, that was in the trailers.
I guess it was an early shot or something.
That's the thing. I believe it was in some of the later trailers, but that scene is not in the movie.
Okay, McKenna Grace. She was in the Angry Birds movie, Independence Day Resurgence, Ready Player One, Captain Marvel as young Carol Danvers, Scoob. To be fair, though, she's getting a bit better because she's supposed to show up in Ghostbuster Afterlife, so here's hoping that movie is good enough at least.
But yeah, seriously, what happened to the more grounded scene of Lucky fighting the guys atop the train? Did somebody go...
Hold on. Here you go. Based on the DreamWorks animation film Spirit, starring Nancy Mullen, and the DreamWorks animation television series Spirit Running Free.
Good, so both fans can be pissed off by this movie.
Let me check instead Prue's voice actress, Marseille Martin. There we go. She was in not much. Her career started in 2016, I think.
So, again, I wonder, Pedro, did the studio go, you know, guys, if we keep this scene as it is, Lucky will come off as a Mary Sue, so let's just make it a daytime and as a dream sequence where it's much more over the top.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, I can't believe...
I wouldn't be surprised if, considering what she does in the show, I wouldn't be surprised if Ori intended for it to be real.
Honestly, I'm more shocked by how not indulgent the ending actually is. They actually bothered to respect the idea that Spirit is actually free. He actually
remains...
title, Spirit is Untamed. Oh my god.
Like, I mean, and not only that, they actually didn't make Lucky OP in this movie.
Don't get me wrong, if they want, if they don't care now, they can just make another sequel and retcon this instantly. But for the purpose of this movie, I'm genuinely shocked because yes, folks, the show is legitimately that bad in that regard. In having Spirit just getting along with this random girl.
Don't worry, Teo. Considering the absolute commercial bomb that this movie is, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get a sequel that ruins this.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. This is one of the most frustrating experiences I've had because this does have legit improvements, and honestly, this animation, while poor by movie quality standards, could have been much better for the show standards to help it out, and honestly... The movie does do some things that feel like they're taking feedback from, well, I guess people who have the same problems with the show that we do, because again, they address stuff like Lucky pretty much being a Mary Sue who can do everything perfectly. They don't have Lucky always be right. She does actually have to legit learn from her mistakes. Her dad is more disciplinary here and there. And again, they actually respected the fact that Spirit is supposed to be a wild horse. They also actually made the bad guys actual bad guys as opposed to implying that they abuse the animals.
You say that, Joe, but at the end, like Shiro said, he listened. It's okay. I'm now suddenly okay that you put yourself in danger just because your mom would have done the same.
Well, yeah, that bit was a bit kooky, but don't you see, her mother would have done the same thing.
No.
I mean, it's something more than just outright ignore, I guess. But also another thing, I swear it's not the booze, but I counted quite a bit of Italian names, including also last names, on the production crew. That's
maybe the Italian mafia helped out with this movie too, Tio.
No, John, no. We were too busy. We were too busy doing a weird live-action sci-fi movie with William Shatner and Smurf Phillips from the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
These are all people that could have been. These were all people that wish they were working on Luca instead.
What is it, Tio?
It's called Creators of the Past. I don't even know if it has an English release, but it's quite something. A story for another time,
But
perhaps.
yeah, like I said, I'm frustrated by this because I feel like if aspects from this movie and aspects from the show were combined to make, a show or movie that didn't suck, we could have legit had at very least, a decent sequel to Spirit. Like, I mean, it's weird. Like with the show, this movie is not all that I was expecting it to be. Like, I was just expecting bad qualities. Maybe not as bad as the show, but still bad qualities. But no. Abigail, I actually like Abigail in this version. Prue sadly doesn't get as much focus. But Lucky is thankfully, much more toned down from how annoying she can be in the show as well.
In the meantime, I found that line that Abigail said. She said, Abigail said to Lucky, horses are finicky, but they've got a real sweet tooth.
That's legit.
Interesting, but they have a sweet tooth. Interesting way of phrasing it.
Horses do like sweet things.
They really like mints and sugar.
Also, fuck off, movie. This core does not deserve to homage Ennio Morricone. You're dirtying his memory, rest his soul. But also,
that's what Lucas for.
Right, it was supposed to be composed by him. But here's the thing: apparently, the horses were not even did not have the stock horse sound effect. They actually have voice actors behind them. Jackson and Andrews as Spirit himself, Jana Kyla Disher as Ciccalinda, and Eleanor Ellie Gentile as Boomerang.
Wow, they gave the horses a separate voice actors.
I mean, they're not the Bradley Baker.
Oh wait,
but
a special
it's
thanks to
more
the Spirit
impressive.
crew and everyone at Dreamworks Animation who supported our production despite all the challenges of 2020. The pals have made it together.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess there's no post-credit scene, judging by the time length.
All I have to say about that is nice of them to go to that extra trouble, I guess.
It was totally worth it, guys. This movie.
Kelly Hasbury. Did someone pass away?
I think so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they dedicate this movie to someone. I don't know why or.
Again, much with a lot of other occasions similar to this, it's only harsher in hindsight, I suppose.
Also, yes, by DreamWorks, a Comcast company. Just saying
Comcast.
Just saying that out loud makes me cringe. Seriously. Comcast are the people that turned Universal, who turned DreamWorks into pretty much the soulless company that they are. So, kudos. But yeah. So
that was the Spirit movie.
Okay.
Well, that was shit.
I'll just put it this way, Jova. See, here's the thing. The sad part, Jova, is that in order to complement this movie, we have to compare it to the show. Because if you just take it on its own and just hell, okay. Let me start. Let me start with my final thoughts because I actually want to know this. Here's the idea. Yes, yes. I'm not going to compare this movie to the show. Because in order to do a comparison side by side, it would take too long. Maybe I'll get around to it if we do comment on the show, where I'll have more time to do so.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because that show is commentary gold.
Okay, the point is, I'm not going to go into comparisons of this between this movie and the show right now. I think what we've said throughout the movie pretty much gave a basic idea. Anyway, okay. So, I'm also not going to compare this to the first movie because what's the point? This movie has nothing to do with the original Spirit.
Again, it's not clear. Like, they didn't give an interview, so for all we know, this is the same Spirit from the first Spirit movie.
Which means what happened to the native guy that he was with at the end. I know that they went separate ways, but...
Yeah, as a retelling of the show, this is really confusing. Some things it's better, and other things it's worse. As a sequel to the original film, it's a complete insult. So that's all I'll say. I just wanted to talk about the movie itself and how it actually is on its own. Okay. Again, I'm not going to praise Abigail's characterization because, like I said, I'm not comparing it to OG Abigail because
Like I said, I mean, not even comparing it to the show. I just got legit laughs out of Abigail. Like, honestly, if anything, I feel like Abigail got upgraded to being the one who has the most character out of the three in the movie.
I guess she still doesn't really do it for me. I mean, I feel like the writing is not really strong enough to
I
really
think,
sell
Joe,
me.
what might help you is the animation upgrade, which allows her to be a bit more, agile and acrobatic, allowing her attitude to show a bit of slapstick nature onto it.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, the animation helps a ton with the comedic timing, which, yeah, the show was
Which,
really
yeah,
missing.
the show is legitimately that poorly animated.
Yeah, it's like this. Okay, first of all, the story. The story, like I said, is very way too fast paced and weirdly structured. Like
Do you
we
think they
literally
should have
cut
made this
from
2 hours instead of, the typical hour and a half?
this movie doesn't really. This movie goes by way too fast. Yes, I feel like an extra, hell, even just 10 more minutes would have definitely probably helped a lot because leveling out the pacing because. Yeah, this movie goes by way too fast. It goes through scenes. The only thing that gets genuine breathing time is, like Teo said, the bond between Spirit and Lucky. And yes, that is the most important thing. But at the same time, I feel like that's like the one thing that's given proper breathing time. Everything else just goes by in a blink and you'll miss it fashion. And it, as a result, any kind like the so-called emotional payoff with the reconciliation between Lucky and her father feels hollow because the show did barely anything to characterize the father.
But Pedro,
Yes.
your mother would have done the same thing, so I'm perfectly fine with you doing what you want to do.
The basic point is this doesn't bloody work. The story goes by way too fast. The only thing that gets proper development is the relationship between Lucky and Spirit, and even that is done in such a by the numbers checklist fashion in a way that doesn't offer anything creative about it. Nothing particularly well. The writing is not really strong enough to overcome the derivative nature of it. It just comes across as a very by the numbers storyline. Everything else comes across as hollow because it's barely, like I said, like we said, Cora did nothing in this movie. Jim Prescott barely did anything in this movie. Barely.
Pedro, he drove a train so fast that his hat that he put on flew off. Which
Which means that he needed a new one in that.
Yes,
Scene at the end.
that's the primary.
Oh my
dilemma.
god! Oh my god!
That's the primary dilemma that Jim Prescott has to face in this movie. The fact that he lost his hat.
Teo, you actually pointed out details of continuity that they paid to mind here. The lore's deep. The lore's deep.
No, Jova, just no.
It's also okay. So yeah, the story is a genuine downgrade in my eyes because it feels so rushed. Whereas for as badly written as the show was, it tried to at the very least give breathing time to the relationships.
Imagine being compared negatively to the storytelling of Spirit Writing 3.
It still doesn't work, but but on its own merits, it just comes across as a very checklist by the number story. And now I'm gonna get to the message. The message. I'm so freaking tired of. Yeah, this is exactly the same problem that the show has, and
what
just
was
as
the
bad
message
here.
of this movie?
That no matter, well, like I said, Jova, that no matter if you see a bad thing happening, you should immediately jump to action, no matter how reckless it may be. I guess that's the message.
Also, you have to learn how to let it go because at the end, Lucky seems to actually learn that.
Yeah.
That she cannot have Spirit for herself because she's not hers.
So I guess that was a good message.
Again, it genuinely caught me by surprise, but it's legitimately more of a teach.
It's like I said, I wonder if Ori Wellington was actually taking feedback. Like, maybe people had some of the same complaints we had about this show because this
Or
movie...
maybe, since this is a movie and not the show, she had the executives briefing on her back, so she thought, okay, I cannot do what I want now.
That's a possibility, too.
Remember, Netflix is very generous, allowing creative freedom.
Oh yeah, very generous.
Yeah, maybe the executives told her to cul-de-sac this because we don't want to leave this of a sequel opening. Make this somewhat conclusive, and then maybe we'll do a sequel if this is successful. It's not, so we're not going to get it.
Again, there are some elements I would like to see from the movie injected into the show, like, the better animation.
I'm still honestly, I'm still wondering if the show will even survive the bomb that this movie was, because I'm not entirely sure if DreamWorks is going to want to bring the show back at this point.
And I'm absolutely baffled because Netflix has a reputation of canceling shows for leaving less. So why they kept this thing alive despite everything is beyond me.
Hell, just recently they canceled a show in the same week that it started airing.
Not just that, but apparently Anne with an E got cancelled after season 3, apparently.
Oh yeah, it did, but that's actually a good reason for that too. There was the CBC actually didn't want to renew the deal with Netflix. Actually, apparently.
Okay, then.
The CBC was apparently not interested in continuing the show.
Like,
So
okay.
it was out of Netflix's hands, to be fair.
The thing that baffles me is like, well, that show has been running for so many seasons that it would feel weird that the thing that they choose to cancel it over is a movie that the show really had no control over. Like, well, I mean, there's nothing to suggest that the show isn't still somehow being a success. So, look, like I said, as much as I myself would love to see that show recognized for the awfulness that it is, I do feel like if it is going to be canned, it should be canned for its own faults, not the fault of a separate movie. Like, I mean, that would be like if Cartoon Network canceled the Powerpuff Girls show because the Powerpuff Girls movie was a bomb.
Mm-hmm. Here's the big problem. The big problem, Joe. The reason I'm wondering, Joe, is because like I said, we haven't had a new Netflix release of Spirit Riding Free since last year.
True.
Which for this show's standards, in terms of its release schedule, is a big long period.
Again, unless they just decide to focus just on the movie, and now that it's over, we're gonna go back there.
That kind of was our theory, that for the time being they were putting all their ducks in a row with the movie, like, all assets were going towards making that. Though, again, with the news that it was outsourced, one does have to wonder if they really needed to do that, but...
Anyway, to continue, I'm starting to get so tired of... No, it's not even just Spirit Riding Free. Like, there are a lot of bad cartoons that do this. This stupid message where they have this annoying kid protagonist that immediately jumps into action the moment something even remotely unfair is happening. And I'm so tired of this because this is teaching the wrong message. A kid should not immediately get involved with affairs he has no business into, at every single turn. That will come back to bite him in the long run. Like it doesn't work. Life doesn't work like that. You can't just immediately jump head start into any problem that you see.
Like I said, you need to have good setup for the reason of that being. Like, they've exhausted all of their options, or literally is that kind of world where they do need to take matters into their own hands. But, yeah, Lucky kind of just does it at the sign of so much as a fly dropping onto Spirit.
Yeah, both in the show and in this movie. And as a result, it does, and as a result, it's just so... so bad. It's a bad message. If the letting go message is way better, I actually really like that particular message in particular. The problem is that this movie, this movie doesn't do it nearly as well as Pixar or Disney do it, and it's just done. It's just tacked on there at the end. And like I said, it is nice. Like Theo said, it is a surprise considering how they do it in the show. But like I said, being better than the show is not an accomplishment. Okay, so that's the story. The characters. Okay, let me address Abigail first. She's fine, but she doesn't do it that much for me. She's better than the show, but like I said, I'm trying to take a more on its own merits approach with this. She's fine, but I feel like we didn't really spend enough time with her for me to properly get familiarized with her, so I can get more comfortable with her jokes. I feel like she was just there. Yeah, they made her quirky and everything, and that's basically it. I feel like the writing wasn't really strong enough to sell me on her humor. I've seen this kind of character better in animated films. Prue is there. I guess. What did Prue do in this movie exactly?
Again, that's the frustrating thing. Like, well, where it feels like they gave Abigail more character and more to do, it felt like it came at the expense of Prue. And Prue was like one of my more liked characters from the show, so damn.
It's also weird because her father they seem to have got the father character right
Yeah.
of Rue.
Yeah, the father's fine, but again, like I said, we barely get any uh, uh, screen time with the parents to really get attached to them.
Also, Abigail and Snipes' parents are nowhere to be seen in this movie. Again, they wanted to
Oh,
keep the tradition going.
which is
Yes.
weird because the show itself broke its tradition by this point. So
Maybe
ba-
this movie was in production before
the
that.
basic point is this: Lucky is once not as much of a Mary Sue as she's in the show, but she's in here. She's just bland. This feels like both. Lucky is your typical horse girl movie protagonist you'll see in those movies. Those movies about a girl who comes from town and then meets a horse, and then she learns the true value of friendship and blah 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 blah.
I guess it's about to pick your poison. Take the absolute annoying Mary Sue she becomes in the series, or your typical starter character, which I guess could have room to grow if this movie were getting a sequel.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, Lucky's so-called arc, if you can even call it that, is that according to the filmmakers, is that she's learning, she's finding her place in the world and learning who she truly is and blah
Learning
blah
she
blah.
can't have everything despite being rich and all that.
Mm-hmm. The problem is, yeah, no, it doesn't really work because again, you just gave her a generic mop top personality that makes her be whatever the hell the plot demands her to be, and she never her dialogue is not particularly memorable. The fact that Isabelle Merced is horribly miscast in this role doesn't help either because I don't really buy any of her lines because Isabelle Merced, nothing against you, honey. I'm sure you're a nice lady, but you are horribly miscast for this role. It doesn't sound clearly appropriate for this character.
I get sometimes changing actors for more dramatic movies, but honestly, I feel like the original three actresses from the show could have worked for this movie. Yes, even with Abigail acting as different as she does.
No, the one thing that the show was fine with was the voice acting. The voice acting in the show has always been fine. I mean, it's not amazing or anything, but it was perfectly serviceable.
Like, they actually got a child actor for Sneeps, and again, his annoyance does not really come from the voice acting, but more just the way he's written.
Mm-hmm. As a result, yeah, the characters are bland. They're planks of wood with little to no personality. And combined with the messy way the story is told, it creates a very mediocre movie that just goes by the numbers, a very checklist manner, and nothing gets fleshed out, nothing gets properly told in a very interesting way. It's just a very, very unmemorable, mediocre film there's that kind of a fart film, a film that happens, it's unpleasant, but you immediately forget about it the moment that you finish it. Like I said, yes, if you compare it to the show, it is an improvement. But how sad is that in order to complement it, I have to compare it to the show?
I guess it depends on your perspective if you liked the show.
Well, yeah, but the point is, this is actually an even less memorable as a result. Like I said, they improved upon the show. The problem is that they didn't improve it and made it a good show, a good story. Instead, they removed most of the bigger problems and didn't replace anything. Didn't replace those problems with anything. Instead, they just removed the bigger problems, and now as a result, what's remaining of the plot, is just a skeletal bare minimum that does only the
which showcase how the premise of the show itself is really shallow when you get down to it.
Well, okay, I'll give the show credit. The show does think up a lot of different scenarios here and there. Does it stretch the concept of it being about Spirit Finn? Yes, but they were constantly
it plays
coming
it so safe, Jova. Again, okay, maybe because it's for me, but the Tangle series manages to showcase how giving the rightful process can transform, a show that can just be played safe like that into something that is more.
Although one thing you did mention, though, I do realize that this movie is a lot more action-packed than the show is as a whole. That's not to say that the show doesn't have some action, and heck, like I have mentioned, my favorite episode in that show is legit the action-packed one where with Butch Lepre.
Yeah, like I also agree. The beginning, the first episode of season
Seven.
six,
Is it 7?
which
Yeah,
I
it was
still
7.
believe. Basically, audience, to make a very long story short, too late. The way season 6 ends and season 7 begins makes me genuinely wonder if those two were supposed to be the original season 6 finale, and they just chop them in half to continue into the next one, because they do feel legitimately like a good conclusion. There is a surprise good amount of continuity. Some characters actually do receive a better characterization than what they had previously, and there's a sort of a sense of finality to it.
Like I said, that is one of the episodes, well, one of the pairs of episodes that I do consider legit good from that show. Yes, there are some legit good episodes from that god-awful show.
No, the villain is whatever. Seriously, he's such a nothing villain that's just here to have someone cause conflict.
Like, hell, at least Butch Lepre actually killed people, so I could worry about that.
Sometimes off screen, but yeah.
Not just that. Butch Lepre actually had a personality. She's actually one of the better characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point is, let me use a sandwich analogy. The original show was a terrible, terrible sandwich full of rotten, stinky, terrible, undercooked, overcooked, you name it, ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Where only the bread was fine. So what they did for this movie was they removed all the ingredients from that sandwich, and all you're left with is the bread. I mean, yeah, eating it is not going to ruin my day. It's just a piece of bread. But unless I'm stuck for options, why would I just eat this bread by itself? That's the problem. They stripped all the worst aspects, but all we're left with right now is a skeletal bare minimum of a story that has nothing to say, no characterization. Little to no characterization to speak of. The story has no backbone to it. It's just a very by the numbers mediocre movie that is going to be forgotten, and and just like the show itself, and people are just gonna forget it and never talk about it ever again.
So
maybe it will show up in a couple of years as well. Oh, the forgotten Dreamworks movie we never knew of.
So Pedro, let me ask you a question. I know that you were kind of looking forward to this movie, but I do wonder, were you hoping for this movie to have been absolutely terrible? Like, okay. I know that you're disappointed in this movie, but would you say it's because you were expecting this to be like a glorious train wreck, or were you expecting this movie to be something else?
I was more curious to see what exactly convinced what convinced the executives to give Roy Wallington the chance to turn this into a theatrical film. That's what got me curious, like the fact that, okay, do you actually have a good idea for transitioning this into a series of feature films?
Especially because, again, it does generally feel like that direct-to-video instead, and they got a theatrical release.
Yeah, instead, that's not what we got. What we got was a direct-to-video Disney sequel caliber film that has nothing to say, is creatively bankrupt, and just feels like it's trying its best to not suck completely. As a result, it's a movie that technically is functional. The plot technically functions. It's very haphazardly constructed, but it still functions. The characterization is inoffensive in general. Like I said, this movie just does only the bare minimum to not suck. That's it. It's a movie that is just mediocre. That's it. Congratulations, Ori. You made a movie, and it's not a complete embarrassment. Congrats.
And you managed to have Lucky realize she can't get everything she wants.
That would have been cool if the show had actually earned that, but it didn't really. That ending felt very tacked on to me, to be honest with you. The show didn't really build up this idea.
That's the reason why it's surprising, Jova, because no one was expecting it.
I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but see, the reason I was fine with the in that movie's case, sisters separating and going their separate ways thing in Frozen 2 is because that actually was built up from the beginning of the movie, whereas in here the ending of the whole them going separate ways thing just feels like it came out of nowhere and didn't really fit with the rest of the plot.
It's like I said, it feels more like it's feedback to our critiques of the show. It feels so surreal.
It just boils down to that. It's a very mediocre movie that's inoffensive, and that's it. Like I said, it's just the bread. They took out all the terrible ingredients. Now you just have the bread. That's it. Just the bread. Shiroi, what do you think?
It's just generic. It's like, I mean, compared to the show, it's better. It's still not great. It's still a disservice to the original movie. But it's there. It didn't frustrate me anywhere near as much as the show did. The music is, the typical, typical variety you see in these kinds of movies.
Well, let me ask you something then. You said it doesn't frustrate you nearly as much as the show itself. But let me ask you about that. Let me ask you. Okay, which one do you consider that at the very least more memorable experience that at the very least gives you something to talk about? Would you rather have the show for at the very least it gives you something to bitch about, or something like this that
I don't even watch the show anymore, really. But,
that's because there hasn't been any new seasons for us to watch.
Well,
I haven't even watched some of the more recent ones.
No, I'm pretty sure you have
Shiro.
You have seen
No, it's been a while. You guys have been watching like the side series and stuff.
No,
I haven't seen any of that.
Sure. That's the point. It's been that long since the last season.
Yeah, it has, Shiro.
Huh.
Well, recent thing we've
Time flies when you have fun, Shiro.
I ain't having any fun here.
No fun allowed.
The most recent thing has been the interactive episodes.
Let me rephrase my question. Based on what you've seen from the show, compared to this movie, which one would you rather watch? The one that at the very least gives you something to bitch about, or the one that just puts you to sleep because of how boring
if
it
I
is?
have to pick, then the show. But honestly,
Really?
neither. Neither.
Wait.
Sure.
I'm surprised. So why would you rather watch the show?
Pretty much for the reasons Pedro said. It gives you something to talk about, whereas this, I've seen this type of movie been done many times. I mean, at least Spirit actually got to ride free at the end. That's cool.
So this was more actual Spirit riding free than the actual Spirit riding free.
Yes. And I don't know what else to say. This just happened. I mean, Abigail wasn't as bad in this iteration. Yeah.
Abigail was better. Woo!
Abigail was better and Spirit got to ride
Abigail
free.
was better,
Ooh.
6 out of 10.
Snips was there too, and they made him blonde.
Yeah, I still don't get it.
Well, Snips was just kind of even Snips was just a generic.
And even so, like I pointed out, it seems that it's another throwing a bone to people who do not like him, like me.
Yeah, because honestly, he's pretty much the butt of every scene he's in.
Yeah.
So that's it. This happened.
All right, just so Jova can have the stage to himself, Theo, you go ahead and we'll leave Jova for last.
Sure.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not even as plastered as I thought it would be, and I still drank all that fucking whiskey. So dry. But okay, it's really a tough one, to be honest, because it has things that are better than the show, but it has things that are so damn wrong compared to the show. The animation is better, but only partially, because those fucking eyes, man.
And
sometimes
Abigail's nightmare face.
Yeah, I was about to mention, the Uncanny Valley is always behind the corner. You're never safe with this fucking movie. It's kind of like, I don't understand, because Dreamworks movie have the reputation of having an Uncanny Valley factor for most of the time, but this is one of the worst cases where they pulled it off. And I'm applying this to the proper time in a sense when this movie was made. Again, Over the Hedge did not have this much Uncanny Valley, even compared to the time being when it was made. Again, it really must be that being subcontract to a different studio, that must be it. But anyway, okay. The voice acting, it's better in some ways, but it does not justify the massive recast of everyone. Everyone is recast. Like, I don't get it. You want some celebrities like Jake Gyllenhaal and Julian Moore, fine. It's kind of a big move towards people like Nolan North who busted their asses to make the role work, and you kind of repay them like that because you just want to tag a celebrity. This is why I keep not liking this kind of mentality that Hollywood has. The name is more important than the actual art performance. This is a problem that is starting to seep in even into my country, and people are rightfully not okay with that, because even Luca apparently had some kind of this problem with Italian dub.
Really?
Yeah, they actually cast a couple of celebrities that people do not like about instead of actual professional voice actors. But that's basically a more localized problem for me. For this one, like I said, it doesn't justify the recast, and there are still some occasions where the voice acting just doesn't plain work, like with our main protagonist. There are a couple of scenes where then I found that Pedro and some others have mentioned a couple of times where the voice actress feels older than the role she's supposed to do. Actually, does feel more noticeable than it needs to be. I actually admit I have actually felt that, and normally I don't particularly care about that. But again, on a medium kind of level, it's fine. Like, it's nothing too offensive, but it's still like not great. The villain's voice actor is wasted. Like, aside from the characterization, the actual voice acting, because the celebrity they got is rather mind famous, but it's kind of wasted because tied to what the villain actually is. The score is barely existent whatsoever. He gets a spark once or twice, particularly in the credit when they try to homage Ennio Morricone, legendary composition for the spaghetti western, but that's it. That is literally it. Not that the score in the show was that much better. I don't even know if it's the same composer or not, but it's just serviceable at best here. Honestly, okay, the songs are just not playing interesting whatsoever. Thankfully, they don't veer too much into the musical territory. It's only reserved for Abigail, which, like I mentioned, they try to make her a bit more meta in this movie, in order to make them more resemble the similarities with characters like Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie, But okay, let's go now with the story itself. As a retelling of the first set of episodes, it goes a bit too fast. It has a very fast beginning. That's the thing that I noticed the most. The middle part, thankfully, slows down and helps the pacing in terms of Spirit and Lucky bonding up. A couple of things happen off screen. The ending feels a bit rushed. Some decisions happen despite not making that much sense, like how the character was jumping in the water. Okay, while we're watching a bit, I noticed there were some men on the boat. So I guess the thought process was they cannot take over the ship and turn it back on the shore. I guess to
be
fair,
it was just one girl and a horse.
Jovan, we watched the show. We know that they could have been capable of doing that.
That's the thing, Tio. The movie surprisingly seems to be trying to be more restrained and grounded. Like, again, the whole bout with Lucky beating up the bad guys was actually just a
that's
dream.
Another thing. Let me point out these two things. The movie seems to be, one, more self-aware, for lack of a better term, in terms of actually not addressing some stuff that happened in the show. People may not like it, like Snips or the overpowering sequences. But it's also the one that actually homages the first movie. Again, I cannot stress it enough. The show, I don't even think the show ever did that once. Even once.
I think it did it once.
Like, you can recolor Spirit with a different color pattern and call it another name, it would be the same thing.
Yeah, whereas this movie did have multiple throwbacks to the movie.
The shots, the poses, some moves that the characters do.
And don't forget the iconic long jump.
Well, okay, in this case it was a bit more moved. Remember, the movie was like kind of in the climax, so we actually emphasized a lot on it. The one thing that this movie does, the show doesn't, and I think it's for the cringiest one side, is how Lucky comes up with Neo Spirit. It's hammered into your skull. It's not funny. It's not clever. It's unnecessary. They could have easily not had that. The bottle that I have on my left has more spirit than this fucking movie in that kind of sense. But anyway, the actual characters, Prue, like we mentioned, is completely kind of wasted. Her father is much like in the show. I do think it's fine. Abigail, okay, she's a bit better. Yes, she's still annoying to me though. I get the idea that the animation allows her to express more and make her be more quirky, but the problem to me comes in what she says, the tone of the voice, and how it's intrusive towards the others. It's not even like Pedro mentioned in the compelling way, like I said, oh, the comedy comes from the suffering of the others, so that's what makes you laugh about it. Mostly because you probably don't care about Lucky and Prue. Cora is non-existent. She has something going on at the beginning about, the ambient is not for her, she cannot take care of Lucky, but she's quickly forgotten. She has a bit Jim, and then at the end she does contribute minimally to the fight. Hurrah. The rest of the town, for what is shown, is fine. I'm gonna get to my personal pet peeve, and no one has mentioned yet. Snipsies! Surprisingly interesting, for lack of a better term, is the butt of the jokes, but they change him almost completely. They made Senor Carrot much younger. He's Donkey because you didn't cut and you didn't watch the show. They made him blonde with this like cowlick type of haircut, which I guess makes more sense for a kid who lives constantly with a donkey and probably doesn't bath. And it's mostly the butt of the jokes. Again, very surprising. It still has annoying moments, but it's a godsend compared to the show. I'm not hyperbolic or stressing out people. Like, if you're that curious, watch for yourself. Snips is legitimately malicious.
Like, for example, he nearly gets the company killed by a tornado.
Multiple. That's the thing, Jonah. It's not like you can remove the tornado part and just leave it there because it tries to do that multiple times. And it's not even in that rapscallion kind of thing, like say Danny's the Menace,
Oh no, he is legit dangerous sometimes.
And the show barely tries to portray him like he learns things or he admits that he's in the wrong or something. Like sometimes it just gets a shrug. But to get back onto the movie, Lucky herself is. I would be tempted to say that she's a bit better in the show, but I'm not convinced. I think she's just on par with what she is in the show. Nothing less, but nothing more either. It's just for different reasons. The ending is the thing that caught me by surprise, which I guess, Jova, you can say it subverted our expectations.
Yes, I guess it did.
But let me tell you about the character that no one else has talked about, because she's not in this movie. The show introduces very quickly on a sort of a rival character for Lucky called Maricela, who she's the daughter of a mayor. We're trying to paint her kind of like the Draco Malfoy of the series, but she quickly starts actually getting some character improvement. She still maintains her kind of attitude. She's a bit snooty. She doesn't like getting dirty and all, but over the course of the show, she generally improves. She even gets her own horse. She hangs out more with the gang and everything.
Yeah, she pretty much becomes the fourth ranger.
But in the movie, completely, utterly absent. It's not like she was like a random fool. She was literally the daughter of a mayor. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, again, she was kind of our favorite character by the end of the show.
We cannot have nice things.
It's like, this movie is already way too stuffed for its runtime, so I guess...
Here's an idea. Remove fucking Snips and replace it with Maricela. That's a suggestion.
That's the thing, Teo. Would you really want Maricela's arc to be rushed as fuck like everything else is?
I guess
it would be Pedro, a 1 is a bigger number than 0. Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Like, but let me get instead to the addition. The villain that they come out, Walrus Heisenberg, I forgot what he's called. The new villain that they got for this movie is okay. Again, the major problem comes from the fact that he's telegraphed beyond belief. Sure, I'm fine. I don't think we should have gone for the twist villain or anything. But it doesn't have that much to speak of. Butch LeFranc, for comparison, had much more personality and everything. I will try to compare also to Grayson, but as Pedro also hinted, Grayson is a kind of character that the show tries to demonize way too much, when most of the time he doesn't really do much wrong things.
Oh, it's okay,
Yet
Tio. They
he's
made
just
him.
a bit grouchy, and yet the show paints him like he's Satan.
That's the thing. They pretty much stopped that by the end of season 7 and just
He
made him
doesn't
a
even
clerk.
show up anymore.
Well, not only that, but his arc, I guess, is done in season 7 because now he's a friendly guy. Treats his horse just fine now, and it turns out he's more joyful thanks to the
Though they do
girls.
have the episode where he swears that he will never be friends with the pals, which, fair enough, I guess. But again,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
digressing.
That's the episode
point
I'm
is that,
referring to because by the end, oh, they're fine. Well, he doesn't become their friend, but he does become more joyful and stuff, I guess, which they assume was thanks to their doing, and yeah, that was the last we saw of him. Which, you know
Yeah.
what, to be fair, like I said, I prefer Butch LePrey as an enemy heck. Heck, honestly, Butch LePrey was the reason he started being a good guy because she was the one who killed his father, so yeah, that was the start of his
But again,
character
the point
development.
is that this original villain is fine, but could have been so much better anyway. That's pretty much it. And I think that's pretty much it for the movie itself, because at the end of the day, there's not much substance, which contributes to what Pedro is saying. Remove the bad qualities of the show, and you only have a very shallow premise for a sequel that with this kind of premise could have not worked. If ideally I was the one that had to be in charge of a project, I was presented this kind of script, I was like, not really. We really need to get back to stuff like the inner thoughts for the horses, because otherwise we're not a character. Again, I'm also glossing over the fact that Spirit, Spirit compared to the show does feel a bit more of a character here. He still takes his Winston's time, but for the second half, it actually generally improves, and at the end of the day, it trying to paint like it was still like his own story as well. But the premise alone is also rotten. The fact that it's not, the focus is not more about the titular horse, but about someone who befriends him. Like it's supposed to be fucking ET. It's frustrating.
It
Again,
is.
we're not, and again, like
The
this
lesson
is this is the 2D property you want to focus on in having so many these so much side project. I still said my point. I do believe franchising the stuff branching from the original movie could be possible, but you need more than this. This is playing way too safe. Like I mentioned, Tangled managed to have 3 seasons that sure might have not been perfect, even though I do believe I don't really have like one. I don't even have any particular episode that I don't like about the Tangle series, but they managed to have 3 seasons where they expanded the lore so much, improved the pre-existing characters, and built up upon what the first movie established to the point where you can genuinely consider it the whole package as a sequel product. Both the show and this do not feel like that at all.
No.
And it's sad because
feels
this is DreamWorks not understanding what the things that build them up.
The comparison that comes to my mind is because of that I saw recently. This movie, in a lot of ways, in the way it's structured and paced and told, feels like the anti-Luca. Whereas Luca gave a shit ton of time to build up and flesh out every single character and all their relationships, all their dilemmas in a true Miyazaki fashion. This movie just goes by like that. Like, it doesn't flesh out barely anything.
But yeah, I'm pretty much done. So at the end of the day, I'm not even sure if I can say that this is better or worse than the show. It's just there. We will see what happens on Netflix and everything. So, but as it is, this is still underwhelming and clearly showcase why it didn't gross as much as it did. Jova.
like I said, this is one of those kind of frustrating projects. Like, yes, it's technically a bad movie, but this movie makes a lot of improvements to the show. And yeah, I know, comparing this to the show, but honestly, this feels like what the show could have been with improvements. And maybe we could have gotten something of a legit good show if we combined the best qualities of the two and obviously still added in some new stuff, because obviously the quality of this fused with the quality of the original show is not going to turn out solid gold. But again, it is frustrating. Like, they definitely did put more effort into this in a lot of areas. I do feel like as a result, though, a lot of the identity from the show is lost, and in which case, yeah, I can get why fans of the show may have been ticked off. Like, again, what's really the point if the thing based off the show doesn't resemble the show all? That said, the music is better than the show. Like, okay, even without comparing it to the show, I feel like the music is fine. Even the songs, while maybe a bit generic here and there, they feel perfectly fine. Even the one sung over the crevice does at least make sense story-wise to help try and calm down the horse and whatnot. I do appreciate that their first priority is to focus on the relationship between Lucky and Spirit, because the movie is called Spirit Untamed. It is a bit of a shame that of the three characters, it feels like Prue got the shaft character-wise. Like, sure, she gets to show some of her horse-sharing tips, but other than that, it sadly feels like Abigail, of all people, had more presence than her. And yeah, I'll say it, even without comparing her to the show, Abigail feels fine here. Sure, not amazing. I think the best way to describe how a lot of stuff is handled in this movie is that it feels like this movie is a glorified TV pilot, in the sense where it feels like this is supposed to be the pilot movie that, kicks off
The show branched on, yeah.
series. Because it feels like they do leave a lot open to be built on later, but it feels that you get just enough that it does feel conclusive. That said, if you're a fan of certain characters, you may be disappointed. Like, I do wonder if they were really banking on this getting a sequel, which wouldn't that have been interesting, having the movie universe run alongside the TV show universe? If they're even still continuing the TV show universe, because, yeah, that thing's been dormant for quite some time.
I guess I will have to see how that turns out.
But yeah, the story, oh boy. Uber fast pacing at first, and apparently the stances are different in that Lucky originally lives with her grandfather, because her grandfather doesn't believe her father could look after her. So we have that tiny snippet with the grandpa, and then it's pretty much off to Miradero from there and then. Where Lucky in her infinite wisdom climbs down a train. And yet, folks, believe it or not, she does not act as stupid here as she does in the show. Yes, in the movie where she recklessly endangers herself out on a train, she's still smarter in here than she was in the show.
That's sad.
Like with Tio, I'm not being hyperbolic. Pedro can vouch for me. Lucky does some pretty, Darwin Awards-y kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if I had nothing else to watch, I could watch this movie. It does have some nice points. And I do mean there would literally have to be nothing else to watch. Like, it's not one of those things that, I'd rather watch paint driving. Like, no, I'd say that there can be some entertainment value out of this. They do go to good lengths to give action, and again, it does keep things more grounded than the show. Lucky doesn't just solve stuff willy-nilly, and she's not always right. She does have to face consequences here and there as well, which I appreciate. That said, I think I overall prefer the voices from the show. Not that these voice actors are inherently bad, and Abigail's is probably pretty good. It's just, it feels like they were either miscast, not directed well, or were just there. Seriously, what was Julianne Moore even doing in this movie?
Oh.
And Jake Gyllenhaal, that's not a small name. Like,
I guess much like Nolan North in the show, you really just need to pay his bills.
I guess. Like,
yeah, that's true. Jake hasn't really been around in a lot of big movies
Let
lately.
me
I
actually
mean,
check.
he
Keep
was
going,
just
Joe, I'll
recently in
check.
the MCU, so
Oh yeah, okay, true. He wasn't Far From Home, but he died in that movie. So
well, again, so my point is like, well, I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal was at the point where you see him in a lot of smaller stuff. Like, again, from what I recall, he's still relatively a big name in there, so it just feels weird to have him here. I mean, granted, maybe they thought of this movie as big scale, except that's hard to believe because they outsourced this. Like, I'm
remember,
frustrated.
this movie has only $30 million of budget. This was a low budget project.
I think it's just this movie is so frustrating. Like, why not just make an actual direct sequel to Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron? You know, the thing that fans of that movie have actually been asking for.
Because two reasons, Jova. One, that movie was a bomb. Second, hand-drawn animation isn't really a thing anymore at good old DreamWorks.
Well, it doesn't even have to be hand-drawn animated. It could be 3D. Just, have your in-house studio profit off the fact that there's a big spirit craze or whatnot. And like I said, if you wanted to base this off of the show, maybe you should have just had it take place within the show. Like,
I feel like a better alternative would have been to do what Disney's animation studios is doing with Princess and the Frog. They're going to have a Tiana TV series, which since it's a TV series for Disney Plus, probably will be able to have 2D animation like the movie.
yeah.
In here, though, a theatrical sequel nowadays, it's always expected for everything to be CGI. So
I just don't get what was really the purpose of this. Well, I get the purpose of this movie, but the way it was handled is so weird and baffling, which, okay, I guess that's keeping in line with the franchise, utterly baffling us, but still,
you want to
no.
talk about baffling?
What?
How about the way DreamWorks went about releasing this bloody thing? Yes, let's release this movie based on a TV show that barely anyone knows exists.
That, is kind of exclusive to Netflix in America, the main theater-going company that we're probably banking on paying the bills.
A sequel to a movie that, while it does have its cult fan base, is not exactly a name that brings attention from the mainstream.
And let's do that also by completely removing the cast from the TV show, changing stuff up from the show that these people apparently like.
And releasing it only in theaters in the middle of a pandemic.
Genius! Simply genius!
And look at that. As a result, it became the lowest grossing DreamWorks animated film of all time.
Like, I'd make a joke, but no, that's literally it, and stone right there.
And
like,
yes, audience, I know what you're going to say. Yes, to be fair, unlike Sinbad, this movie was released in the middle of the pandemic. Yes, if this movie was released in a period with no pandemic, this movie was released in 2019, for example. If this movie was released in 2019, it most likely would have surpassed Sinbad and some other of the other animated, animated movies.
That being said, it's arguable that it still would have bombed.
No, it probably would have. Okay. At best, it would have broken even. At best.
Are you sure? Because, this movie is
$30 million, I don't know, $30 million is not that hard of a threshold to get through.
I've seen movies of that threshold that have still managed to bomb in this day and age.
Also,
that's even before the pandemic.
Also, let's keep it with DreamWorks alone. The Trolls War 2 got released last year with very limited theatrical release. And, the streaming service, and it was a huge success.
Yeah, so, again, even with that all in comparison...
What's this movie's excuse?
Yeah, this movie really doesn't have an excuse. It's just lame.
It's the most baffling decision. Why this one? You didn't release Troll 2 only in theaters, but you released this one. Did you really think this movie was going to be the one that drives people to theaters?
And again,
Warner Brothers did that with Tenet, but Tenet was directed by Christopher Nolan. Do you really believe that fucking Ori Wellington has the same name power?
Apparently, they thought it had the same power as the Fast and Furious series, which that's in theaters, and that's practically advertising the fact that it's being in theaters. But I really have to wonder. Again, I get that this must have had a fan base, but again, with it being a Netflix show. And with there not really being many fan videos about this series, because, well, most people I know who were a fan of Spirit didn't even really like the show to begin with, I do wonder, was the fan base for the show really that big? I mean, okay, obviously it must have been doing something right for them to have been getting all those seasons. That or Netflix just literally has a hard-on for it, but I think that contributes to my frustration with this movie. It baffles me. And again, I'm frustrated because there are legit improvements that in this movie that maybe would have been better if we just applied to the show. Like, heck, have this be a reboot of a show. Because honestly, the show at this point has reached more than enough a conclusive
And I get
end.
the idea, considering the difference, Joe, that it is supposed to be a reboot of the show.
Well, that's the thing, though. From what we knew, Tio, the implication was that the movie would run alongside the show.
If they really wanted this movie to succeed, they should have actually given a bigger budget and get a better creative team behind it.
And, maybe have their in-house studios at Dreamworks work on it instead of outsourcing it. The background looks weird. Like, not necessarily bad, but it feels like the unholy love child of Pixar and Dreamworks in both their on and off eras and whatnot. Like, it technically gets the job done, but something about the scenery half the time feels uncanny. It's hard to describe. You got where I'm coming from, though, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of uncanny, yeah, the faces in this movie. Some can be pretty mean-worthy. Especially Lucky and Nightmare Abigail's face, like, Jesus. Okay, like I said, there were some legit good surprises. Like I said, Lucky is not some invincible Sue character who could pretty much solve everything, and she actually did have to train to learn to be good with the horse, and even still, it wasn't like they were implying that she was suddenly the best of the three with a horse.
One of the directors of this movie, Elaine Bogan, she was a director for the 2 of the How to Train Your Dragon TV shows and Troll Hunters.
Huh. I've heard those are good, so...
As for the other, Enya Torre-san, he's a DreamWorks veteran. He was an additional story artist and storyboarder for many of their movies throughout the years. Carry on.
But yeah, like I said, another pleasant surprise was that Spirit thankfully got to have suitable screen time. I mean, he clearly was the dear antagonist to Lucky, but he at least got to have the main bulk of the action in the climax. Like, I'm kind of amazed, actually. Trust me, folks, the show has kind of conditioned me to expect Spirit to not get to be the hero of an episode. I know, comparing it to the show, but like I said, it's part of my frustrations that it does feel like they were trying to improve with this movie, but they messed up so much stuff that honestly, the show is still the better experience overall. Granted, for a lot of the wrong reasons, but still.
And even then, Joe, for all the improvements, all they really achieved was making a film that's not a complete embarrassment. It's just there.
It's your typical case of one step forward, two steps back.
This is Ari's best. This is the best she can do, it seems.
Remember, this was being hyped up in God, I think back in 2019, now that I think about it.
It was announced in 2019, yes. But it wasn't being hyped up, not really, because nobody cares. Nobody cared when this movie came out. Nobody cares that it's bombing. Nobody cares.
Hey, Joe.
Nobody cares, Joe.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
I mean, it's sad. A part of me does care because in a sixth sense, I could have seen this. Okay, like I said, the animation by movie standards wasn't that great, but by TV show standards is actually pretty good. It feels like this is what the show could have been. I mean, obviously not what the movie could have been, because this is the movie and it was lame by those standards, but dang, it could have been better. Again, the fact that we're nearly at the 3-hour mark does show that this movie still manages to give us stuff to talk about.
This movie wasn't even 90 minutes long.
Nope. 1 hour 27. This movie has... What reason would this movie even have to be longer than that, Shira? This movie has nothing to say. It's like Tia said.
Well, it's like Tia said, if they wanted to pay an homage to the show, they could have added in more aspects on the show to try and pace it out better. I don't get why a lot of filmmakers seem to be afraid of going beyond 90 minutes sometimes. I do get it that sometimes a movie can drag, But it doesn't mean you've always got to limit yourself to 90 minutes or less. Sometimes that can damage a movie.
A movie can be as long as it as it wants, as long as the story and the material it has justified it. Look at Avengers Endgame, which is 3 hours long, and those 3 hours flow by completely because the movie is just so entertaining, and it completely earns the right to have a movie that own, because it's the complete culmination of the Infinity Saga.
Exactly. Like, don't be afraid if you can tell a legit good story in that time.
Here we go, Joe. To give you a basic idea, Joe. Guess what?
What?
The Luca, my new favorite Pixar movie, is only 95
even more than
minutes.
Soul?
Yes. Well, I never said. Well, it's for personal reasons, Joe. But I'm not going to get into a rant about that.
Okay.
The point is, that movie is 95 minutes. Only about 7 minutes longer than this one, and I can tell you, it manages to pack so much character development, so much atmosphere, so much setting / world building into it in just those 95 minutes in comparison to this. It's the true difference between a talented director and a not so talented director. It makes all the difference.
And like I said, there have been plenty of problems with this movie. Again, the final last surprise was that yes, Lucky actually did learn lessons and did register, and she did let Spirit go to ride free and untamed. So surprisingly, it did live up to the title. It's just it's weird.
We live in an age where we're surprised that movies actually respect their titles.
Yeah, that's sad. Like, that's the thing. This movie kind of feels sad in that regard. Like, again, I was expecting something. Okay, I wasn't expecting something to be, like, amazing or whatnot, but I was expecting something mind-blowing from the minds that have given us a show as baffling as Spirit Riding Free. But even if I were to rank this on how amazingly or entertainingly bad it was, it's just, it's not it.
No.
He's saying it, Chief.
Yeah.
This movie is forgettable, and there's little to no reason to watch it ever again.
Maybe for some scenes here and there, but yeah, honestly, if you want something that's entertainingly bad, check out the show. Like I said, if you're really bored, check this out, but otherwise, it ain't worth your time.
This is the kind of movie that parents put on to keep their kids quiet for 90 minutes.
Except that Dreamworks themselves have a better selection of movies that can fit the category.
And Netflix shows too. Like, Troll Hunters is actually pretty good from what my mom showed me. There's also some other bouts, like something of Arcadia. And like I said, the How to Train Your Dragon Netflix show is great. Why haven't other Netflix shows from Dreamworks been able to follow that show's example of quality?
Because, Joe, How to Train Your Dragon is their Toy Story of sorts. I mean, I know it's not their first franchise like with Pixar, but it was the first franchise that they've created on their own that was generally universally regarded as great. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I love Prince of Egypt as much as the next guy, but that's not a franchise. That's just a one-off movie. I'm talking about like something of a franchise, something that can go on for a while and do world building and develop characters even further, that kind of stuff.
Is it sad that How to Train Your Dragon probably had more consistent quality than the Shrek franchise?
Well, yeah, that's because Denis Dubois actually is a great director.
Not just that, the two ways to measure, Jova. Shrek doesn't particularly care about world building unless it's really important.
Well, it kind of was doing the world building stuff.
First two movies,
yeah,
I'll argue the first two movies despite still being comedy, still did a fairly decent job. It's only when the third movie came about that they just completely gave up.
But whatever, let's not divulge too much.
Sure.
So that was Spirit Untamed. What a journey. What a journey.
A journey that I will immediately forget after we're done.
See you for the next DreamWorks related thing, or until we finally cover the Spirit Riding Free show.
Boss Baby 2 is next.
No, we haven't even did the first one, Jova Pedro, because the audio got lost.
Oh, it did?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess we have to redo it then.
Well, no, not even alcohol can help me with that one.
Yes, tune in next time for when we eventually do a DreamWorks thing. And yeah, it sounds like we're gonna have to drag in Tio kicking and screaming for the Boss Baby.
I'm not getting involved.
But Shiroi, don't you want to see some animated baby butt?
No.
Aww.
See ya, folks.
See ya.
See ya.